Thank you.
Now we welcome you inside Wildcat Country. It's a new week and a brand new look here in Wildcat Country. My name is Mike Cook, Nathan Cron alongside me, and we are happy to bring you Wildcat football for the first time inside refurbished Wildcat Stadium.
It's a beautiful arena. It's a great place to play football, playing all the other sports that Eagan has. And tonight, the Eagan Wildcats are hosting an Anoka Tornado team that has some of the same challenges and some of the same promise that they have. And it's going to be interesting to see how they take what they did well last week and improve upon that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned, we talked to both coaches before the game, and both Nick Johnson for the Wildcats and Anoka's coach Bo both said, you know what, we made a lot of mistakes, but it was week one, maybe some jitters. But both said they had a good week of practice. They're ready to go tonight.
Well, both teams have similar, profiles. They made mistakes last week and got behind early. And of course, once that happens, you're talking about 15 to 18-year-old young men. Sometimes the momentum changes in a way that it's hard to get back. It's even if you can compete, it's still a challenge mentally. Well, tonight, both teams have an opportunity to start with a fresh slate and put their stamp on this game.
And they are going to be playing in definitely some October-like weather. Game time temperature about 46 degrees, and there is a stiff wind blowing from the Eagan sideline to the Anoka sideline. So it definitely feels like October football tonight. Yeah, we mentioned it's the new and improved Wildcat Stadium. You got turf for the first time in school history. You've got a brand new scoreboard. I mean, this place is sharp.
It's absolutely beautiful. The end zones are going to, again, careful with your eyes. The end zones might poke them out. The reality of it is that you're going to see a lot of lines on the field, and you're going to see a beautiful scoreboard there that's going to be flashing all through the game. It's going to give us some great information, some great looks. We've got a great ETV crew here tonight. We've got the truck, we've got replays, we've got all sorts of great people bringing you the action. Mike, it's ready to go.
Looks like the Wildcats are going to kick off. As I stand, Anoka should be returning. They'll be in the road whites. They're going to be moving right to left across your television screen. The Tornadoes, they lost 37-6 to Osseo last week in a game the Orioles ran for 306 yards against the Tornadoes.
I think we'd fully expect Eagan will run this football right down toward the Anoka's throat. That being said, some of Eagan's biggest and best plays were through the air last week, Mike. So it'll be interesting to see how much and how often they do go to the air, understanding that this stiff wind is going to play havoc with long passes.
Looks like number 8, Dylan Schmidt, number 11, Levi Yvonne are back deep for the Tornadoes, and we are underway from Wildcat Country. Class 6A action, short kick, and it's going to be caught by the up back at the 20-yard line. And for the Anoka Tornadoes, their quarterback, number 16, Jacob Deutschman, second-year starter for that squad. We're told Dylan Schmidt, number 8, will be the key backer tonight for the Tornadoes.
Ball spotted at the 20-yard line, first and 10 for the Anoka.
Coach Bo talking about really they just like to run that spread offense.
Number 16, Jacob Deutschman.
And for the Wildcats, same defensive starters as a week ago. The first play of tonight's ball game from Wildcat Country. Deutschman looks to the sidelines. Sends his man in motion. And then we'll hand it off. This will be Schmidt. And he's dropped for a couple, loss on that play. First man in for Brown in for the Eagan Wildcats. Loss of about, they're going to say no gain officially. Favre was in there as well. Second and 10 for the Tornadoes. Well, this will be key for Eagan to come out and get an early stop. As we saw last week at Farmington, Tigers marched right down that field on a quick opening drive and scored real quick. And they're going to go right up the middle, pick up about 4, maybe out to the 25. Schmidt once again the ball carrier for the Tornadoes. McClune in on the stop for the Wildcats from his secondary position.
One of the best ways to start this game for Anoka is to get a first down to move this football slowly out of the spread. They've run twice now. Let's see what they do here on third down.
You said Deutschman is the quarterback. Told he's got a good arm. I know last week on their first passing play, the snap went over his head. That's much better. Deutschman stops, throws, that short arms it. Well, short, good pressure by the Wildcats.
And you know what, Mike? It was Colby Sorensen on a safety blitz. You'll see Colby Sorensen. I'm not sure if we'll get the replay on this one or not, but Sorensen comes knifing in from the right side of the line and gets a hand on Deutschman. I'm not sure if it was his leg or his ankle or hip bone or where it was, but he was definitely interrupting Deutschman's delivery, and that was one of the reasons he short-armed it, Mike.
And just for that, Sorensen gets to go back and return this punt for the Eagan Wildcats. Sears the kicker for Anoka. Anoka goes 3 and out. Cats look like they're going to bring everybody. And they put a couple men back, but good pressure by the Wildcats. Good kick by Sear. That's going to bounce out at the 45, and it's going to be stopped at about the 44-yard line. So outstanding field position for the Eagan Wildcats.
Yeah, the best field position they've had all season, Mike. I mean, granted, the sample size is small, but they, against Farmington last week, they were consistently starting on their 20-yard line, 30-yard line. Now they're almost to midfield, and they haven't even taken an offensive snap yet.
So out for quarterback for the Eagan Wildcats tonight. Again, number 16, Alex Lockenmeyer. Where's number 16, junior?
Number 16, Alex Lockenmeyer.
He's got Chavez in the backfield with him. First and 10 for the Cats. First offensive play of the night. And just a pickup of about 3 straight up the middle. And again, that is Chavez, that time the ball carrier for the Eagan Wildcats. Ianni with the stop for the Anoka Tornadoes.
And Coach Johnson was talking about, they ran the ball a lot into the middle last week against Farmington because they were making reads. And you might say, well, gee, why are they running it into the middle so much? And those are reads by the quarterback, reads by the offensive line, and the running backs. They have to make they will make some different reads this week.
Straight handoff once again. There's Chavez. He'll cross midfield. Going to set up third and about 5 upcoming for the Wildcats.
Yeah, nice surge. It was a nice surge. It was a nice surge by the offensive line. Last week they were a little bit inconsistent. When I say a little bit, that's me being a little bit kind.
Yes.
I mean, they were inconsistent, but if you watch that replay, I've got 3 Mike, I had 3 pancake blocks on that play alone. This offensive line was grinding.
Motion Boodoo. Keep Boodoo. 50-45. That's going to be a first down. Eagan Wildcats inside the 45-yard line. Boodoo with his first carry of the night.
Excellent job by Alex Lockenmeyer staying with that option, and Boodoo staying in pitch relationship. So easy it is if you think, Boodoo thinks that Lockenmeyer is going to turn it up the field. He may get out of pitch relationship. That time though, he stayed in pitch relationship, opened up to allow Lockenmeyer to give him the ball. Excellent job by both players not giving up on that play and running the option.
8-yard pickup in front of the very limited crowd here, judged by, of course, Department of Health guidelines limiting the amount of fans in Wildcat country. Here's Lockenmeyer. We've got a flag coming in. That's in the area of an offensive line no-no. But instead the play does go down to the 21-yard line 21 Silgan, I should say, to the 31, but this one's likely coming back. Cats only had 5 penalties last week.
Again, unfortunately though, Mike, this is, I don't want to sound like a broken record. It is a hold against the Wildcats. See if we can pick it up here on the screen. And I didn't see it there. I didn't see it there on the replay, but it's a 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which takes away not only a nice gainer down to about the 31-yard line, which would have been a gain of about 11, but it moves us back. And that's the kind of mental mistake, the mental mistakes that Eagan just can't make.
Right. Second and about 22 upcoming. Need to get down to about the 33-yard line. Going for the first time, Air Lockenmeyer, far side, a little high for his intended target over there. That was Anderson, the intended receiver. Number 4 in there for Anoka on the coverage. That's Brennan Brockle. Should mention a quick hello to those of you watching us in the northern suburbs on QCTV. Glad you're with us here to watch your Tornadoes against the Eagan Wildcats. I know a year ago ETV picked up the QCTV broadcast of that game.
Second and 22, Wildcats at their 45-yard line.
Third and long upcoming. Check that. Second and long. Lockenmeyer, he'll keep. And get minimal pickup there for the Eagan quarterback.
Well, Mike, this offense is not necessarily designed to go down the field. Anoka has the spread offense, as you see here. Lockenmeyer running the option. In an ordinary down and distance 1st and 10 situation, that's a fine play. 3 to 4 yards, you're fine. But when you're first down and 20, that's not going to, or second down and 20, that's not going to work. So now we've got a long third down for Eagan. Unlike Anoka that has the spread that can go down the field vertically more often or perhaps easier, Eagan doesn't necessarily have that in their scheme.
Jacqueline Barant, by the way, one of those in there for Anoka on that stop. As we said, got to get down to the Tornado 33 here on 3rd and long. Lockenmeyer, he'll steps back, rolls, getting good pressure there by the Tornadoes, and Lockenmeyer will just hustle his way out of bounds across the 50. Pickup of about 5, maybe 6, but it'll be punt time for your Eagan Wildcats.
I was looking a little dodgy there for a moment. The offensive line, it seemed to kind of give up on those blocks. I mean, I think I couldn't quite tell, but it looked like maybe a 3-step drop in which the offensive line had plans to only block for about 2 seconds anyway. But candidly, they got to stay with those blocks until they hear the ball's gone or that whistle blows.
So 4th and long for the Wildcats. And a new formation Nick Johnson telling us about. Call this the A11, I believe he said. And apparently we had a timeout called by,
I believe it was by Anoka.
That'd be my guess. I'm looking for Ed Key's our official tonight for the word, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, I think Anoka wisely called a timeout. And I think we're going to get that signal here in just a moment. Yep, Anoka did call a timeout. They saw something. Obviously, the Wildcats must have done something there in that punt formation that they were not expecting. That's a wrinkle that perhaps the coach NJ threw in to try to create some opportunities for his team. And wisely, that's why you call a timeout. Call a timeout there. Get a sense of what's going on. Make sure that you're not going to be, get completely flat-footed. Have a chance to draw something up.
Yeah, Josh Cifuentes, number 13, is the Eagan punter. We were told he was going to be, he and Chavez are lining up kind of behind the center just a few yards there in this new look. And, boy, they were excited about kind of the different potential coming out of a formation like that.
Well, the challenge is, though, it's still 4th down. Now, it's fair to say that, this might be, you could even say this is 4-down territory when you're on the other side of the 50. But the reality of it is that it's still 4th down and about 12 yards, 12 or 13 yards, Mike. And, that's a long way to go if you're going to run the football. And if you're going to pass the football, that's one thing. And now Anoka brings out their normal defense package, and now they're going to shift over to cover.
Looks like number 10 for Anoka dropping back, a little quick kick. Barrett back on to receive it. Good coverage that time by the home team. And Anoka's going to start at about their own 20-yard line, actually right on the 20-yard line. Good job downfield by the Wildcats. You saw McClune down there. You saw Sam Martin down there.
Well, the challenge that creates, Mike, is that Anoka is not able to necessarily set up their return. They're not able to set up. They're not able to block, take guys to the outside. The angles are all different than what you're used to. So my guess is the Anoka coaches will have to look at that when they get to the sideline and say, okay, how are we going to do this next time to give ourselves a chance to field that punt and get it upfield.
So Deutschman and the Tornadoes, second time with the football tonight. Again, he's got Schmidt with him in the backfield. And they'll give, and he will go nowhere. Number 8 in there for your Eagan Wildcats is Gabe Favre. 5'11", 219 is Gabe, and he stuffed that one.
Well, Favre last year suffered a very serious knee injury against Lakeville North, if you'll recall, Mike, and missed most of a good chunk of last year. But he's playing tough this year. There's no question about that.
2nd and 11, Tornadoes. High snap. Deutschman grabs it. He finds his man far side. And pickups of about 6 out near the 25-yard line. I believe that was Baird on the reception for the Tornadoes.
Visions of last week when the first snap of the game went over Deutschman's head. That center's got to make sure that ball hits him somewhere between the knees and the waist.
Anoka, quick play here. And that's going to be a first down out across the 30 near the 35-yard line. Nelson with the stop for the Wildcats. Number 22 for the Anoka Tornadoes with the catch. And that is Elijah Paulson. Paulson, just a sophomore for the Tornado.
A nice catch by Paulson, working on the clear out route.
Pickup of about 10 on that play. And Anoka's trying to run it. They're going to get maybe a yard that time. Good job by the interior on that Eagan defensive line. Cifuentes was in there as well for the Wildcats, number 13 leading the rush.
Well, Anoka's got a little wrinkle for the Eagan Wildcats here too. I mean, they're running right to the line, and they're getting set up now. They are subbing now, so that's going to slow things down. But they ran 3 plays very quickly there, Mike. And you think that tempo that's probably something that they can show that's going to put Eagan in a bind.
2nd and 7 for the Tornado. As we approach the midway point here of a scoreless opening quarter on ATV. Deutschman, he's got plenty of time. Good job by the line for Anoka. Brown just misses. Deutschman gets one off, and it is incomplete. Near sideline, Barrett, the intended receiver for the Tornado.
Intended receiver, Tommy Barrett, number 10. Playing defensively on the crew, number 17.
Well, that time, Deutschman had plenty of time, Mike, and there just wasn't much open down the field. Now, it looked like he was looking primarily at the left side of the field. I wonder if he had looked at the whole field, maybe he would have found something, but that time, just held on to the ball a little bit too long, and as a result, just wasn't able to find somebody.
3rd and 7, 4 receivers for the Tornadoes. High snap again. Deutschman, good hustle. There's Sorensen right on him, and they're dropped inside the 20-yard line.
Well, it's one of the dangers of running from the pistol, from the gun or from the pistol, is that ball gets over the quarterback's head, and there's no one there to keep it to pick it up. There's no one there to bail out the quarterback and the center. It's the most fundamental thing in an offensive playbook is the center quarterback exchange, and at some point that has to work. That's the second week in a row where that's really put Anoka behind the sticks.
That's a 21-yard loss. Sorensen deep for the Cats. Sear to punt this one away for the Tornadoes. Cats bringing just about everybody. Good pressure. Good kick by Sear. Good high kick. Sorensen fair catches it. Gets it back, however, 44-yard line, but there is a flag.
I don't think it was a hard hit, but I think they're going to get Anoka here for a kick catch interference. I think because I think Sorensen was hit. I think Sorensen was hit as he's trying to field that ball, and I think the referees are going to call a 15-yarder.
The official word, Ed Key, is that is definitely on the Tornado. Yep. And a little bit of applause here on the home side.
Well, now we do have, unfortunately, an injured Tornado down around the 10-yard line. Look, he's being tended to by the staff from both the Institute for Athletic Medicine as well as now as TCO. So there's an official's timeout on the board. But Mike, this is the best starting field position easily that Eagan's had in any game at any time this year.
Yep.
Again, small sample size, I get that, but they're starting 1st and 10 on the opponent's 30-yard line. I mean, this is a situation where Eagan has to score points.
We talked about it last week in that Farmington blowout that I don't know if he can cross midfield until, what did we just say, sometime in the 3rd quarter?
Yeah, about the 3rd quarter. That's right. Yeah, about halfway through the 3rd quarter. Now they've been on the other side of the field twice. As forgive me, I had the number there in
25,
my head.
Brandt.
Yep, Brandt's up and walking in his own power without a limp off the field, which is exactly what you want to see. If you're a fan of high school football, you want to see these guys play hard and play safe.
You know, and I wonder, it looks like the wind might have played a little bit of havoc on that punt as well. I mean, it looked good coming off his foot, but I mean, it got up there and it just hung.
Yeah, it hung and it swerved, I think, too, Mike. I think it went well over to the right.
So Lockenmeyer and the Cats from the 30. Lockenmeyer rolls, pitch, Voodoo. Then about the 28-yard line. 56 in there for the Anoka Tornadoes. That's Parker Colbert. Yeah, Parker Colbert from his linebacker spot.
It was nice job by the Wildcats running the option. Voodoo does a good job of being decisive, sticking it in rather than trying to run around the outside. And a nice job by 56 from Anoka, you know, flowing down and making the tackle.
Just one receiver for the Cats. Straight ahead with Anderson. And he'll get down near the 21-yard line. Going to set up third and very short for the Wildcats. Among those in on the stop was Ayani for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Well, Eagan that time ran an unbalanced line, Mike. They had an extra offensive lineman in the game, and I think they decided a little power football right at Anoka was what the doctor ordered, and here they go again. They got an imbalanced line again.
See if Lockenmeyer just keeps it himself. He will not. Yes. Oh, actually he does. Should have handed that one off. And Brandt back in there with the stop that time for Anoka, so obviously not too shaken up. Yeah, Brandt, number 25. So it's going to be a loss of 4.
Yeah, and I like this call. Coach Johnson's keeping the offense on the field. They're going to go for it right here and try to get a first down.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Lockenmeyer, quick short drop. Little pass. Voodoo, can he get outside? No, he cannot. Nice job by the Anoka defense. Number 3 that time. Kiatumba, 5'9", 175. Boy, he read that well. Grab Voodoo, and Anoka takes over.
Yeah, all 5'9", 179 were right on top of Voodoo that time. That's a situation where a young player in Voodoo needs to understand what's going on. He needs to catch that ball and get up the field as quickly as possible. I know he's fast and he's running an out route, but he's got to get up the field faster because by going backwards, he gives himself no opportunity to try to pick up that first down. But again, that's an educational moment.
And for Voodoo, just glad to see him back at full strength. I know he had a hamstring injury there, kind of when they started practice once again. But looking good right now. So Anoka, third time tonight with the football. 3 and out the first time. A little more progress last time. Deutschman gets out near the 25-yard line. Sorensen in there for the Wildcats. Along with number 7, Bronny. Nate Bronny. I know we unfortunately kind of butchered his name last week, and we flat out asked him tonight.
Yeah. We got to make sure we get it right for Grandma. And that time, you notice the Eagan defense is really flying off the ball. They're really attacking the Anoka offensive line. I think that's going to be the difference for Eagan if they continue to be successful.
Deutschman finds his man right over at the sideline. Minimal pickup that time for the Tornadoes. It is positive yardage.
That was a nice
Barrett, by the way, in the catch.
Forgive me, Micah, but a nice pass by Deutschman. Plenty of arm on the ball, getting it to his receiver. He had some heat in his lap, got the ball out there, and there just wasn't that much there because Eagan, to their credit, rallied very well on that. It was an outside screen, a quick hitter to the outside, and that time Eagan rallied. There were 3 or 4 blue players flying to the ball from the far side of the field.
So 3rd and 5. Richmond's going to come near side. Look, throws. Got his man out across the 30. He's going to be right at the sticks. That's Barrow once again on the reception. And Dorsey on the stop for the Wildcats. But we do have a offensive line infraction, most likely judging by where that flag was thrown.
Indication is holding against Anoka.
Well, that takes away what would have been very close to a first down, Mike. I mean, they never spotted the official on this side near the sticks never spotted the ball. It was a nice catch and run for Anoka, but unfortunately, this just like with Eagan in their last drive, a penalty is going to take them 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's going to march them back well inside their 20-yard line. And now, unfortunately, Anoka looks at third down and basically 17, 18. It's going to be very challenging for them to pick up this third down after getting it. And that's both teams have that problem, Mike. Both teams have the problem of making mistakes when they can't.
4 receivers for Deutschman to work with. He's got 3 to his left, 1 to his right. He's going to roll left. He's going to look, throws. And that's going to be a pickup out to about the 22-yard line. Needed a lot more than that, though, for the Anoka Tornadoes. Number 22 with the catch is Paulson. His second reception of the night.
Well, you know this is a spread offense, and they haven't gone downfield yet. Anoka hasn't gone downfield too much yet, as we see Alex Kemp from defensive lineman from Eagan down on the field being attended to. But a lot of the passes so far for Anoka are in those flats. They're out routes. They're not necessarily going down the field. And I wonder if the coaches are using those out routes to set up something where they start to go out and then they go back down the field, because virtually all their routes seem to be running that way at this moment.
Yep. Alex Kemp still attended to. He gets up.
Yep.
And he's going to limp off the field. Eagan trainer again this year is Diana Bachland. Little pat on the rear there from Robinson. So we've got inside a minute to go now in this scoreless opening quarter. Steer to punt for the third time. Again, Sorensen back deep for the Wildcats.
Deep safety is number 3 for the Wildcats.
Good snap. And that ball got tipped on the way up. Anoka catches it at the 22. I didn't see who got the big paw on it.
It was very difficult to pick it out. This is a huge play. Now Eagan is starting 1st and 10 on the 22-yard line of Anoka. I mean, this is, again, Mike, we talked about it on the last drive. You got to score when you're given a 20-yard field. Let's see if we can pick up who picked it off.
Straight up the middle. Looks like Cifuentes got it.
Yeah,
it 13.
It was Josh Cifuentes. It was Josh Cifuentes who got a hand on it. Wow, what a big break for Eagan.
Like you said, though, they need to convert now. And they're going for it right away. 6 points, Eagan! And who else are you going to throw it to?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not throw it to Robinson? He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's got a good hands. That time, honestly, I wonder if Anoka was thinking Eagan was going to run that football, because I don't know if you could tell from this replay, but Robinson looks like he's wide open.
Yep.
I'm not sure if the safety missed him, or if the safety was still looking in the backfield expecting Lockemeyer to run that option, because Eagan really hadn't shown too many passes tonight yet. So Eagan's ahead on its home field for the first time in a long time, Mike.
Alex Rodman looking to make it a 7-0 Wildcat lead. Oh, that was a bad snap. Chavez has got a roll. Chavez tries to get to the corner, and I believe he's going to be just shy. So 6-0 Wildcats. Nonetheless, the Wildcats are in front in Wildcat country, and as you said, I don't know the last time that happened.
I could say you and I. This is our third season, Coach. Our third season, Mike.
Second season for NJ.
No. You and I.
Oh yeah, our third year together.
This is our third year together. I can't remember the last time that Eagan was ahead on its own field. So this is it's historic. And again, we have a little fun with it up here in the booth because it's true. But the reality of it is that when you're building a new culture, there's a reason you have to build a new culture. It's because what's going on or what's happened in the past this isn't working. So, Coach NJ's got his work cut out for him, and now it's Coach Mo's job to get these Anoka Tornadoes fired up. It's his job to get these guys dialed in and say, okay, guys, put that out of your head. Put the block punt out of your head. Put the touchdown out of your head. Go out. Let's keep attacking these Eagan Wildcats. They made some mistakes last week. They're going to make mistakes again. Let's take advantage of it. That's Coach Bo's talk to his guys on the Anoka sideline.
Yeah, Wildcats, I believe it is 16 straight losses, 16 straight home losses. Granted, one of them was up at the Vikings facility or the TCO stadium, but probably they're playing Start Me Up by the Stones. And a little short kick this time by the Wildcats, and Anoka's going to take that at about their 42-yard line. You know, we saw last weekend where Eagan really struggled to cover plays like that. So maybe trying to take something out of the old Farmington playbook.
Well, we've already seen some interesting changes in the special teams, Mike, tonight with the punt formation. It'll be interesting to see what else happened, what else Coach NJ has got dialed up for this game. I mean, if you're Eagan, at this point, pull out all the stops and just do what you can to win this game. Don't worry about film. Don't worry about anything else. Just try to win this football game, and you know, that might be part of it. Maybe they're gonna the next ball that's gonna go well over everybody's head. Maybe the next one will be an onside kick.
Anoka, what could be the final play of quarter number 1. 4 receivers for Deutschman again. Looks to the sideline. Schmidt in the backfield. Cats looking to blitz. And Schmidt's going to get a run of about 3, maybe 4 that are on first down. Sorensen, among others, on the stop. Looks like Cifuentes was in there as well for the Eagan Wildcats.
Yeah, it was a nice surge by the Anoka offensive line over to that side. Eagan flowed well to it, but let's face it, if you're Anoka, a first down is what the doctor ordered, and they're well on their way by getting 3.5, 4 yards on first down.
So that's going to put 1 quarter in the books where it's your Eagan Wildcats 6. The Anoka Tornadoes nothing here on ETV. And as we said, hello to everybody watching us up there in Anoka on QCTV.
Also want to say hi to everybody streaming us on the World Wide Web as well. I know we've got fans in all sorts of states with all over.
And yep, it is definitely a cold night here in Wildcat country. We were just kind of talking before we came on the air that in a normal football season, the last regular season game would have been last night. Today would have been seedings, and then, next Tuesday for 6A it'd be like a week you'd be playing. But again, in the era of COVID, again, you'll take what you can get. And we know it's going to be cold. Yeah, it's Minnesota. They're talking snow flurries, aren't they, this weekend?
They might be, and we, due to COVID, and you can see some of the heaters there the Eagan Wildcats have on their sidelines to try to unfreeze a few of those water bottles that the guys are required to have, because again, in the land of COVID, everybody's got to have their own water jug. You're not allowed to have communal water facilities. So it's we're on top of the press box because you can't be inside. Mike, it's COVID land.
So 2nd and 7, Anoka, as we start quarter number 2. Going to send his man in motion. That's Barrett. Hand off to Schmidt. Going to run that way as well. Nelson giving chase. And nice run by the Anoka back inside the 40.
Absolutely. What a nice run by Schmidt around the end. Nice blocking at the point of attack, and a nice job of Schmidt sticking it in hard. And now Anoka wants to go tempo. Anoka's back on the line. They want to run tempo.
It's a 19-yard run for the Tornado back. Deutschman looking to throw. He's going for it all. He's got a man down deep. Touchdown, Anoka. My guess is it's going to be number 14. I would have guessed Barrett, but I'm wrong because number 14 is Keenan Rodriguez.
Number 14, touchdown.
That's a 36-yard pass. Boy, that was a nice ball, though. He threw that right where only his receiver was going to get it in stride.
Absolutely, and that time Deutschman was in a position to take a hit, too. As you can see here, Sorensen was, or no, excuse me, that's Cole Nelson. Cole Nelson was knifing in on him. As he threw that ball, and so there was a chance he was going to take a hit. He exposed his ribs, but he delivered it to Rodriguez right where he needed to be. An excellent catch by Rodriguez, staying with it, and the defensive backfield challenges continue for Eagan.
Sear to give the Tornadoes the lead. And he does.
From number 10, Tommy Barrett, the point after by number 41, Carson Sear is good. 11:45 remaining second quarter. The Anoka Tornadoes 7, the Eagan Wildcats 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, this is for both these teams. This is a much better first half than they had a week ago. We saw the Wildcats; they were down 41-0 to Farmington at half. Anoka was down 31-0 to Osseo at the half. So I would imagine both Coach Bo and NJ on the Wildcat side are happy that nothing's out of control yet, shall we say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And both teams still have an opportunity to win this football game. And as you say, last week by this time, both teams candidly were on the wrong end of a 3-touchdown game. And so there really needs to be a realization by players on both sides that it's there for them. It's right there for them. And with that extra effort, that extra smartness, that extra savvy or whatever it is, they have an opportunity to win a football game.
Yeah, you saw a bunch of the cheerleaders there here in Wildcat country. You saw the heaters going, and you look down to those cheerleaders, and there's 15 or 18 of them, which is about 20% of the crowd you're allowed to have on the home side. Looks like Anoka used their full allotment of tickets. There's a pretty good crowd over there on the visitor side.
Sear, number 41, he will kick off.
Sear to kick it away for Anoka. And let's see if they learned anything off that film that Farmington had a week ago for the Wildcats. They just kind of would kick that ball at about the 35 or the 30. And no, they're not going to do that because Sear's going to let it go. And will it get out of bounds? Does.
Out of bounds.
It's a good idea to kick the ball directionally. It's unfortunately not a good idea to kick it out of bounds. I mean, it's, again, if you'd like to, if you're trying to pin them back deep, that's not gonna help. You're bringing the ball out to the 35 is just going to give Eagan an opportunity to have decent field position. So I guess it's a good idea if it works. If it doesn't work, they're starting on the 35.
And we mentioned it earlier, but the strong wind, that's blowing balls out that way.
It is. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I'm sure that definitely aided the Wildcats. Cats on first down. Good job that time by the Anoka defense. They swallowed up Lockenmeyer. There are about 3 or 4 of the Anoka Tornadoes in there.
Yeah, good penetration by the Anoka defense. They did a good job flowing to that ball. Now's the time in the game when Eagan could maybe use a little bit of misdirection. Because as you see here, there's blocking, but then now there's not blocking on your screen. So you can see that there were, I can't quite pick up all the numbers, but the reality of it is those guys have got to stick on their blocks a little bit more.
There's Robinson. He's out left for the Wildcats. He caught that touchdown pass earlier in this game. And they're looking his way once again. Lockenmeyer rolls. Lockenmeyer's in trouble, and he'll just throw this one away. Wisely throw that one away.
Yeah, both in terms of keeping it alive for the team as well as, and importantly, keeping him healthy and upright too. I mean, don't take a hit. Don't try to be a hero. Throw the ball out of bounds. And live to fight another day. Live to fight another down.
I think it was William Vianney and Brandt in there again, that time for Anoka.
Now again, Mike, it's 3rd and 10. The Eagan Wildcats need to do something here to kind of turn. They need to do something to kind of, they got to flip this field a little bit.
Yes. Just one receiver, maybe 2. Lockenmeyer's coming near side. He's got room to run. Can he get to the sticks, though? He's going to need it. Nope. He's going to get out to about the 42-yard line. But there is a flag back behind the 30-yard line. I would, assume that will be a Wildcat infraction. And if you're Anoka, you got to take that, don't you?
Yeah, you have to walk them back. You have to give them. You'd rather have 3rd down at about 20 rather than 4th down at about 1. Yeah, you got to walk them back.
Well, and I think you saw too the way Eagan lined up on that punt back in the first quarter. Why the Cats going to do something and go for it? A lot of chatter over on the Anoka sideline. Holding is the official word. So it's going to be 3rd and. Let's see how far back they go because it is a spot foul. Still need to get out to about the 45 for first down. And that is going to be about 27
yards.
3rd and about 28.
Yep.
Moves the ball to the 18-yard line.
Now, I'd like to see Eagan be conservative here, Mike. I mean, just be smart, hand off that ball and punt.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They're going to pitch it near side. Oh, it's hung on that time by Silgan. 25 out near the 30, but he needed to go a lot further.
I like the play call though. I like the play call, and I like picking up some yardage, making that punt just a little bit easier. We're punting from, well, I'm not sure where the punter's going to line up on this play, but we're punting from much farther up on the field, maybe a good 10, 12 yards up on the field. That's a pickup of 13. Normally you'd say that's a great play.
Right, on third down. So again, there's Chavez and Cifuentes, 10 and 13 respectively for the Wildcats. And, that one went off of, I think it went off of one of the tornadoes. And Anoka's going to have outstanding field position.
Okay, this is unfortunately, Mike, for Eagan, this is precisely what they couldn't have happen, and B, this is when getting tricky just gets a little too tricky, right? I mean, you've got 5 or 6 guys lined up across, and they're flying across, and there's no one to block them. You can't. There needs to be a little bit different. I mean, they figured that part out, right? So either that ball's got to go to the outside, one of the outside groups, or they got to punt it faster. They got to do something else there because Anoka's figured that one out.
Ball's going to be spotted at about the 22-yard line. Let's see if Anoka tries to go for it all here on first down.
Why not?
Yeah, I would. Deutschman, you see he's got 3 receivers to his left. There's one to the way down to his right on the bottom of your screen. Bad snap once again. And he's just going to kind of throw that one, and nearly had his Schmidt coming out of the backfield, but it's a nice job of making something out of nothing.
Well, full credit to Deutschman. I'm not sure how he gets to that ball and unloads it. I mean, honestly, the smart play is to just fall on it, and just not worry about it. Instead, not only does he get the ball, he gets it, turns his body, and is able to throw it close to Schmidt. Schmidt even had a play on that ball.
Absolutely. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 as the clock stops with 9:57 to go here in the opening half. Anoka scored earlier 7-6 on the 36-yard pass to Rodriguez earlier this quarter. Again, Anoka a lot like Farmington. They come to the line, it looks like they have a play in mind, and then they turn, look to the bench. Here's Deutschman. He's going for it again. And nice arc. Dorsey's back there. Look at that catch. And there's going to be a flag, but that's going to be on Dorsey, I think. It's Rodriguez's second of the night, if indeed it stands, which I think it will.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Dorsey for this flag. I don't think they're going to see a push-off here. They're hand fighting all the way down. I think Dorsey hits him. I think he hits him. I guess I'd be surprised. The replay certainly didn't show any offensive pass interference.
No.
I didn't see any from up here.
There's Rodriguez. He's looking to see if it works. Offensive
holding.
Yeah, or whatever. It's on the Wildcats.
It's on the Wildcats, so it's declined and it's a touchdown.
Yes.
Yep.
The indication is defensive holding.
Again, though, just a nice ball by Deutschman. Got that one up in the air, just dropped it right into the hands of Rodriguez.
Yeah, the defensive secondary for the Wildcats really is, again, right now, Mike, initially in the first part of the game, first quarter, they were okay. Right now, they're struggling. Right now, they're not getting their head around to the ball. That time, Dorsey just needs to turn his head. When he hears that ball's in the air, he's got to turn his head and find the ball. Because I think if he turns his head, he's right there. He's right there.
I'm not sure what the delay is. Okay, I think we're back to the action now. They might have got away with a little bit of a false start there. There's the flag.
Penalty flag.
Ball is run in for the 2 by Ianni.
False start penalty against Anoka.
Yeah.
And I think now they bring the PAT team on and they probably just kick the extra point.
Yeah, I
think so anyway. Although again, you're ahead 13-6. Why wouldn't you just kick the extra point anyway?
Although there is, we are still early in quarter number 2.
Yeah.
41.
But
Snap, good hold. Kick is up. Kick is good.
Is good.
And it's now 14-6 for the Anoka Tornadoes. 2 quick touchdowns here to start the second quarter for the Tornadoes. And the Cats, they need to rebound on this drive.
No, absolutely. They got to do something here. They have to dig deep and find some of fire and find some of the drive that they had in that first quarter, Mike. I mean, they were playing hard. The defense was playing hard. Offensive line was firing off the ball. But it's, as you pointed out, Mike, it's early in the game. There's still 9:47 to go in the first half. There's just no time to panic, no time to change your game plan. Stick with what you've got. Just execute it better.
Getting to look at the Eagan cheerleaders, just trying to lead on the few fans that are here. Just trying to, maybe more importantly, just trying to stay warm. But again, we know the fans are limited, but we also know there's a lot of you watching us tonight on ETV, on the web, up on QCTV in Anoka. Got to give a special shout out. I know there's a group of 8th graders that would normally be over here on Hormone Hill that are watching us tonight. The group of Mongo, Fluffy, Gus, and Dilly. Sounds like a bad law firm.
Or a good band.
No.
No? Maybe not.
Anoka will kick off from the Wildcat 45-yard line.
So Anoka's going to kick this out. What do you do here if you're Anoka? You got a lot of options.
Kick it deep and play good defense. Kick it deep and play good defense here. Notice that Eagan has changed their kickoff return team. They've got a lot of hands guys out there,
yes.
A lot of low numbers.
And that one will safely hit the blue end zone here in Wildcat country.
Kick off into the end zone for a touchback.
So Eagan at their own 20-yard line. Where that 6-0 lead suddenly is a 14-6 deficit.
Yes. Smart by Anoka to, the Eagan offense hasn't done anything the last 2 drives, so let's pin them back on the 20. Let's make them go 80 yards to score on us.
And we'll see what the Cats choose to do. Do you stay with the run? Do you try to mix in that pass a little more here? Lockemeyer likes to roll out to his left. So he's kind of almost throwing across his body, which you think quarterbacks aren't supposed to be doing that normally. And they'll just run it on first down. That's Anderson. He'll get up to about the 25-yard line.
Michael Anderson, number 2.
Yeah, he had a nice hole that time. I couldn't quite see exactly which gap he shot through, but he had a nice hole that time. That's exactly what Eagan needs. Just 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards. Do that all the way down the field. And then, of course, at some point, Anoka's going to say, "Okay, we're gonna take that away from you. We're gonna do something we're gonna take that away from you in some fashion." And we'll have to see what they do.
We've seen Anderson in practice, too. That kid's got some wheels if he gets out there. Not going to happen on that play. Anoka thinks they've got the football.
Okay, Michael Anderson, number 2.
And they do have the football.
Recovered by Anoka. On the loose ball for the Tornadoes.
I think it was
Lawyer, number 8.
Lawyer with the fumble recovery. And it's suddenly going from bad to worse for the Wildcats. Yeah, he just never had that football.
Yeah, the quarterback and running back just did not connect there. As you can see, Mike Anderson just never, as you say, never had the football. And this is the kind of thing that just can't happen. If you're Eagan football, you can't make mental mistakes. We talked earlier with Coach NJ about not putting the ball on the turf, and he said they had a good week of practice not putting the ball on the turf. Well, we've done it now once, and the game still has half the game to go.
Again, Deutschman, they've 4 receivers to work with. A much better snap. Got his man at about the 18-yard line. Short pick up there. I'm sure that looks like number 10, Barrett, once again.
Catch by Tommy Barrett, number 10. Tackle made by Owen McClure, number 17.
I'll have to look, but that's got to be fourth or fifth catch for Barrett tonight.
Yeah, he's had several. Absolutely.
Gain of 8.
I have to talk to the stats guy about that.
There you go, read very well that time by Brown and others in for the Wildcats. No chance that time for number 13 of Anoka, the first carry of the game for Ethan Kelly.
On the tackle is number 60, Brayden Brown.
Cats just broke that one up in a hurry. That was Brown, beat his man quick. And we go back to the action, a little pass to the screen. Anoka is going to be inside 10-5, touchdown Tornadoes. Barrett from the 17-yard line.
Touchdown Anoka.
Now it's starting to look like the Farmington game a week ago for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it is, but it honestly, Mike, it shouldn't be, right? I mean, I don't know what – I'm not sure quite what the defense was thinking there for Eagan.
The ball was clearly going to the outside. It was a swing to the outside, and I saw maybe 2 defenders heading over there. Really, when they telegraphed that pretty hard, Anoka telegraphed that pretty hard. Eagan's got to make something happen there.
So Kelly, number 13, is back there, and actually they're going to keep it that time. No chance that time. Iani on the run. Or Iani, yep. So it's 20-6, Anoka. So that's
several Wildcats short of the goal line, 2-point conversion, not good.
Okay, so Mike, after a block punt and a turnover, suddenly we go from virtually a tie game, a close game, a tie game, to a two touchdown deficit. I mean, it's the game. There's still 8 minutes left in the first half.
Yep.
And there's still plenty of time. Just get a first down, move the ball like you were doing earlier. Now, you're not going to have the great field position you had earlier, but you can do this if you just stay with it.
We talked about it last week. It's a real process. You got to have, make a play here, make a play there. But now you've got to put it together. I know Coach Henderson, the co-offensive coordinator, was talking about the Eagan line play last week. It wasn't terrible, but he said, but you look at it, there was, you made your 4 key plays. You just got to make sure you make those key plays every time.
That's right.
Here, a few Let's Go Eagan chants from the crowd. A few lonely voices. And the Cats looking to return it out near the 15. Sutter Steps goes back the other way. That's Chavez. And he'll get out near the 30-yard line where the Cats will take over. Looking to get something going.
Mike, this is the point where somebody in a blue uniform has got to make a big play. Somebody in a blue uniform has got to do something to kind of wrest some momentum back to the blue side of the field. And Anoka right now has got a lot of it, but Eagan's beating itself. It really is beating itself. I mean, credit to the Anoka Tornadoes for playing hard, recovering fumbles, but the reality is, if you hand off the ball clean, you probably don't have that problem.
So Cats trying once again deep in their, not really deep in their own end, but at their own 30. They'll pitch it back. Silgan is across the 30. Nice tackle that time by Anoka. That was number 7 that time, Iani. Well, he's been all over the field tonight for the Tornado.
Yeah, nice job by Silgan staying in pitch relationship. You always get a little nervous at this time of the year, but nice cut by Silgan up inside. I think that was Nelson was blocking to the outside, and Silgan says, you know what? Instead of trying to go to the outside, I'm going to cut, and he takes the pitch and he gets up the field, and it's a gain of 3.
I don't know. That's kind of been Eagan football so far this year. It's a lot of gains of 3, 4, but then they have a mistake, and suddenly you're looking at 3rd and a long ways to go, and it's going to set up 3rd and about short on that run by Chavez.
And if Eagan stays with this type of an attack, if they stay with this type of an attack and stay on schedule, they can be successful. At least tonight they've demonstrated they can. It's when they fumble the ball, when they take holding penalties. And here's where they got to get the first. They got to get a first down.
Straight ahead. Yeah, that'll do it that time for the first down. That's Chavez again. So you look at that line for Eagan that time. Vaeda, the guy up the center, big 77, just leading the way.
Look at this surge. That's a nice surge. That's a nice surge. The Tornadoes did a good job of closing down from the outside, but instead of look, it's not hard in that situation. It's not hard. You need 1 or 1.5 yards. Don't screw around with the pitch. Just give it to your big guy. Put him right behind Vaeda and let him plow forward.
I'll tell you, Melcher made a nice block too, number 51 there for the Wildcats. Cats turn it around. Got plenty of room there for Anderson. Gets the corner. Anderson, 40, 30, cuts it back. We mentioned his wheels inside the 20-yard line. Michael Anderson for the Wildcats. That's a 38-yard run.
Wow, what a run by Anderson. Not only did he do a great job of avoiding the first man in, who was, watch this at the top of your screen. Anoka sniffs this out a little bit. He does a good job. 25 is that, forgive me, I'm forgetting his name, but that's Brandt. Brandt that does a great job sniffing it out, but Anderson beats him to the outside and then does a great job of cutting back, as you said.
So at the Anoka 20.
Loose ball recovered by the quarterback, Alex Lachenmeyer.
Were we just talking about mistakes?
Yeah, well, I mean, now yes, we were talking about mistakes, but honestly, it's 4-down territory anyway, and you know, it's a loss of 4 and we got the ball back, so you know, on the grand scheme of on the scale of mistakes, it's a lower ranked one.
Will be 2nd and 14.
But this is
But still, it's now 2nd and 14.
Yes, it is 2nd and 14, so we're gonna have to do something. Egan's gonna have to do something here. Maybe attacking the wide side of the field to the left side of the line might be a wise thing here because there's a lot of room over there.
Yeah, Robinson's out bottom left of your screen. He's got one-on-one coverage on that side. They were looking that way initially and couldn't quite get the pass out to Boodoo.
Pass is incomplete. Stephen Boodoo, number 14.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 14.
Defending for the Tornadoes, Brennan Rockfall, number 4.
Yeah, you saw that move by Lockemeyer. Looked like he was looking for Robinson.
Yeah. The other thing is that the offensive line's got to attack. They have to attack the upper inner thigh on 3-step drops, and the back has got to get out of the way and let Alex set his feet, and then he has to attack the line too. See, in a 3-step drop, you're not really pass blocking where you're setting up. You're attacking that line, attacking the defender to stop his momentum so that your quarterback can set up quickly and deliver the ball.
Tight formation for the Cats. Now they'll send a man in motion. That's Silgan. Fake to him. He's low on the side, and they got him inside the 20. Could not quite break the tackle. Nice job out there by Anoka. That's Brockle up from his secondary spot. And it's now going to be 4th down. Wildcats at the 17-yard line.
A nice job by Brockle to make that play to stay with it. I mean, you'd have a tendency to want to flow out of position and lose your shape. But also credit to Siljan and Lockemeyer for turning that into something. I mean, that was completely improvisational.
4th and 7. Big play right now for the Wildcats. Anoka's got the last 3 scores. Lockemeyer throws it down, and it is a 6 points Wildcats. Robinson.
Touchdown, Wildcats.
You know, the best part about this play for the Eagan Wildcats is Lockemeyer throws this on rhythm. He doesn't get back there and set and wait. Watch him as he comes back. Boom, 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 bang! It's gone. All right, he's not holding on to it. He's going to make sure he gets that ball out to Robinson and let Robinson do the rest. Robinson's a big target. Lockemeyer did a nice job of getting that to him in a place where he can make a play and then, of course, get into the end zone.
They struggled last time on the PAT. That kick is not going to do any better. That was blocked. So it's now 20-12 in favor of the Anoka Tornadoes. So on the bright side, it's still a 1-score game if you're a Wildcat fan.
Yep, it is a 1-score game. Eagan shows. Look, I mean, that last drive showed that Eagan, if they stay on schedule, if they hold on to the football, they can play with Anoka. They can win the game if they do those things. Now the trick to the Anoka side is, okay, Eagan's taking a couple punches. They just gave us a punch back. Now what are we going to do? What's Anoka going to do if Anoka gets this ball and goes 3 and out? I think Eagan's probably onto something. They have an opportunity here. If Anoka takes this ball and marches down for the remaining 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in the half and burns out the rest of the clock, then it's more even.
Saw Coach Bo Wazurek there for Anoka. He was the one with the shaved head. Reading his bio today, he used to play he was a Gopher tight end for 5 seasons. Played a little indoor football with the Green Bay team. Grew up over there in Green Bay, so yeah, he said he's a big Packer fan. Yeah, he kind of smiled when we mentioned that to him.
Well, you mentioned it. I was just confused as to why we were bringing it up, but you're absolutely right. He's very proud of his heritage and his roots, as we all should be.
And he was telling us he coached in Texas for quite a while as well and saw what kind of some spread offenses down there, and he's brought some of that up here to Anoka.
Yeah, nice of him to bring the warm weather with him.
Yeah, exactly. Little short kick again that time by the Wildcats, fielded by Anoka at about the 20, out near the 30, 35-40, look out. Nice return by the Tornadoes on the far side. I think that was number 11 on the return, Ian. Or G-Bond, check that.
Well, I'm going to look. Alex Rodman is your kicker. and he's 48. And keep your eye on him. He's in the lower part of your screen there. He's going to make the tackle. This is quite a collision. And I got to tell you, if you're the cover team, I don't want my kicker making that tackle. I got to work harder. They're congratulating Alex on the sidelines, and I'm glad he's glad everything's fine. But let's make a hit so that we don't have our kicker making that tackle.
Timeout Wildcats, by the way.
The Minnesota State High School League reminds us that educational value of this event is more important than its outcome, and respect for others, including the opponents and officials, is one of those values. Support today's teams with the respect that they deserve. Thank you from the Minnesota State High School League for your participation in and attendance at Minnesota State High School League sanctioned events.
Let's face it, we're all just happy to be here with everything that's going on in society, with the coronavirus, and we saw that there's Lakeville North had to reschedule the game again today. They were supposed to play Burnsville, and Burnsville, they said it was precautionary. They postponed that game. Lakeville North went over to Eastridge. Did not hear an update. The last update we heard, that game was scoreless at the half. But next week, Rosemount comes here, which would be their first game of the year, as they've had issues with the COVID. So their game, they were supposed to play Farmington tonight. Farmington had to go to, is now playing at Hopkins this evening. So really, for these coaches and administrators, it's just one of those, take it day by day, do the best you can. And Schmidt does his best right there with a nice run. What did he break? 4 tackles, 5 tackles?
If the Eagan defense wants to be taken seriously as a 6A defense, they've got to tackle. I'm not gonna. The effort to you use your feet to move your hands, okay? But your hands, when they get there, they've got to do something. That time, that's just way too many tackles to break.
First down at the Eagan 31-yard line after Schmidt goes 26. Yeah, give it to him again. Why not? 30 tries to cut to the outside. He's tripped up that time by number 27 for the Wildcats. That's Stowell.
Number 27.
Okay, the Wildcats are in danger here of just losing this moment. You're losing whatever momentum they've gotten back. They're going to keep giving it to Schmidt until the Wildcats take it away. Eagan's got to start attacking the line of scrimmage rather than catching blocks.
He had 3 receivers this time for the Tornadoes. And give it to Schmidt, like you said. Why not? Again, look at that surge by the offensive line there for Anoka.
Well, the Eagan's playing. Looks like they're playing with 2 deep safeties, and they're definitely having to spread out to cover this Anoka passing attack, and they're running up the middle. Right now, the Eagan linebackers and safeties have got to do a good job of squeezing down and taking Schmidt away.
Deutschman rolling, throwing, got his man. That's Barrett just inside the 10-yard line. Good coverage, but an even better throw by Deutschman. That's Gugino on the coverage. First down at the Wildcat, I believe it's going to be the 8-yard line. And again, Anoka just runs that hurry-up offense. And, Nathan, I don't know if they're just – the Cats just can't adjust to that.
It's now first and goal, Tornadoes on the 8-yard line.
Well, Rodriguez, 14. He's got a couple of touchdown catches tonight for Anoka. There you go. Nice job that time by the Wildcats. Bursting on through. That was McLuhan.
Well, that's the kind of big play that somebody needed in a blue uniform needed to make, Mike. That's absolutely what the doctor ordered with respect to trying to slow down this Anoka attack. Anoka had all sorts of momentum, but that's a huge loss of 12 yards back to about the 20-yard line. And now Anoka's looking at 2nd and goal from the 20. Now, again, with the way they're throwing the ball, that it may not necessarily be a huge change in the way they would approach things, because they're certainly going to be within 4 down territory, but it gives Eagan a little bit of breathing room.
Good cheerleaders trying to fire up there, boys. Set up nicely that time. That's Schmidt. 10, 5, barrels his way into the end zone. 20-yard touchdown for Anoka, and it's 26-12.
Well, it's a great play call by Anoka. I mean, honestly, Eagan was bringing the house. They had one-on-one, what appeared to be one-on-one man coverage in the secondary, and that time the one player, and I couldn't see who it was for Eagan, the one player who had the opportunity to make the play got blocked, and there was nobody. Schmidt had 15 yards of green grass in front of him. He was going to score. It was going to go the wrong way for Eagan that time.
A lot of leg, a lot of accuracy. 27-12 12, Anoka. Anoka's got 27 points this quarter.
18 seconds remaining, second quarter.
Well, you got 2:18 for the Wildcats. I believe they've got 2 timeouts. Got to make something happen.
Yeah, you absolutely have got to make something happen. I suppose it's gonna depend. You know, if I'm Coach NJ, it's probably going to depend on where I am on the field. I mean, if I've got decent field position and can get a first down, that's going to be one thing. Now, what I don't know and what we'll have to see is, does Eagan have what you and I would call a 2-minute drill? Now, again, this offense is not necessarily designed to go stretch down the field, you know, like Anoka's is. At the same time, we've already seen Robinson, you know, make 2 huge plays and catch touchdown passes from Lockenmeyer. And, you know, and you've got Rowan Phillips on the other side lining up. You know, maybe there's an opportunity there to stretch the field a little bit. Give yourselves an opportunity.
So you got Chavez and Anderson are back deep for the Wildcats. And you look at the Anoka kicker there. Boy, yeah, Carson Sear, just a junior. Been very busy this quarter. By the way, looking ahead, Eagan does get the ball to start the second half. Both teams do have 2 timeouts with 2:18 to go. And I'm sure Anoka would be more than happy to use theirs to, if the Cats can't do anything on offense. That one should be returnable. This will be Chavez. What about the 10, 20? Tries to bounce to the outside, gets out near the 26-yard line. Number 42 out there for Anoka was Sawyer Chell. And Eagan's going to take over at their own 25, we'll call it the 26-yard line.
To the Wildcat 26-yard line, 16-yard return.
I see Lockenmeyer leading the group out, number 16, the Wildcat quarterback. Robinson, 15, has been his top target here through basically 6 quarters this year.
Well, I would imagine they'll try to run this ball, try to get a first down first. There's plenty of time. They do have 2 timeouts, so let's get a first down, make sure we don't give up any points. Get it out of our own end.
Lockenmeyer thought about running. Silgan's going to get it instead. 25. That play just slow to develop. Read extremely well by Anoka.
Well, the option is something, you know, you see it there on your screen. The option is something that really, at its best, is attacking the line of scrimmage. That time, both Lockenmeyer and Silgan were running what appear to be parallel to the line of scrimmage, and as a result, they still execute the pitch. Silgan makes out, puts his head down, but they're still only, still a -1.
And the clock continues to roll. Just under 100 seconds to go in the opening half. Lockenmeyer looking to throw. Look at that burst through by Anoka. Big 57 that time is Burns. Or Churchill, check that, 67. Oh, he burst through there. I don't want to say untouched, but the effect of it was that.
Yeah, and we've got a timeout taken by Anoka. Anoka's got 1 more, so Eagan needs to do something here with this football. Give themselves an opportunity to at least punt the ball away and not end up on the wrong end of it. What I'm trying to figure out, and I wish I could see the replay on that last replay, but I can't figure out is exactly what our offensive line was thinking there, because Lockenmeyer takes the snap, he takes a few steps to his right, and all of a sudden there's a guy right on top of him. They're like, either you're blocking a man or you're blocking a zone if you're an offensive lineman, and if it was a man, somebody fell off, and if it was a zone, somebody missed their zone.
Hey, quick second. I want to say congratulations to the Eagan girls soccer team. They won on this field 2-0 last night, advanced to the section semis. They'll be at Lakeville North on Tuesday the 20th. Do you want to give a boys update?
Yeah, the boys update. They played a good Rosemount team. They played 100 minutes of soccer on an incredibly cold night and ended up losing in a shootout. So their season's done.
3rd and 17. You would think passing situation. Cats are going to run it, and they're going to make Anoka use that last time out. Anderson, the ball carrier, and Anoka did indeed stop the clock once again.
Anderson carries out to the 24-yard line, a gain of 5.
This is a situation, Mike, where Eagan does desperately need to get this ball punted out of its own end.
Yeah.
There cannot be any there can't be any screwing around, any blown assignments on blocking. If the ball is going to go to Cervantes, in a quick kick situation, he's got to get that ball out. I mean, even if it only goes 20 yards, he's got to get it out.
Yep, absolutely.
You can't get stopped there. We can't get tackled for a loss. We got to go.
Well, there is 1:15 to go. So Anoka did use their last timeout. Again, we've seen Deutschman. He's been able to throw the ball pretty well tonight. And then they pick Schmidt in there, and they've really kept Eagan's defense on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the defensive secondary is still, honestly, if I'm honest, it's not, again, like, the pass that I called out Dorsey earlier, he was in a good spot. He just has to turn his head. When he hears pass, he knows it's going to be a pass. He sees the receiver running. He's just got to turn his head, and it's that coachable moment where the coaches on the defense are going to have to get these guys dialed in so that they can do something with it. And now we see a more traditional punt formation by Eagan to make sure that this punt gets off.
Zach Jacobson is the snapper, number 56.
Deep safety for Anoka is number 10, Tommy Barrett.
Fuentes, the punter. Gets that one off. It's a high kick, but it should be returnable. Caught back at about the 37-yard line for Anoka. They're going to get out near midfield and wrapped up there on the far side by a number of Wildcats. That was Barrett once again doing a little bit of everything tonight for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Well, an excellent job. I mean, a good job by Eagan that time to make sure that they got it out of their own end. I mean, technically it's still on the Eagan 48, but there's a huge difference between giving the ball to Anoka on the 20 versus the 48. So now is an opportunity here. Now again, Anoka is going to throw this football. Eagan's got 2 timeouts. So we'll see if Coach NJ uses, if there's a big gainer by Anoka. Let's see if there's an opportunity to call a timeout, slow things down, and make sure everybody's lined up in the right place.
3 receivers for Anoka.
And I don't see any heat being brought by. Here comes some heat from Eagan.
And a little trickery. Schmidt looking to throw. Lobs up. Got a man wide open. Oh, and it's dropped at the 15-yard line. Wahlberg.
Intended receiver was number 2, Troy Wahlberg.
Oh, that play developed so well for Anoka, and it was there.
I absolutely was there. Wahlberg.
Which is why you watch the replay, and that's all you got to say.
Yeah, it's just look at Wahlberg by himself. He's got everybody beaten by 15 yards, and it hit him in the hands. And boy, I'm sure he's going to want that one back tomorrow.
Well, I wonder if he was thinking end zone before he caught the football.
Probably was. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he probably would have scored. So we're down to 56 seconds to go. Deutschman, he's looking to throw it once again. He's got his man far side at about the 38, and it is caught over there on that far side. That's Rodriguez again.
Yeah, Rodriguez, that's an impressive catch. Watch this replay. He's going to catch this ball. He's sliding kind of out of bounds. Does a nice job of catching it, making sure it's in his hands and getting his knees down. And nice play by Deutschman. I mean, that was a good ball right where it needed to be.
42 and counting. Deutschman, he's going to throw once again. Why not? Oh, good pressure that time by the Wildcats. That's Brown in there. It's going to be a loss of about 7.
Brown's new, one of those players that Coach NJ was talking about coming back to football. He's still a little raw, but he's big and he's strong.
Deutschman going for the home run ball once again, deep downfield, and that ball is caught at the 5. Colby Sorensen right there for the Wildcats. He thinks he's got a shot at it. But yeah, guess who? Rodriguez on at the 14.
Yeah,
now they got to hustle.
They have to hustle to the line because they don't have any timeouts. It is first down. Eagan's going to be smart about this. They have to make sure that if they're going to spike it, they spike it. But if they're going to cover, they got to cover. They got to cover something.
They're going to roll right. Deutschman looking, throwing. Oh, nice job. Batted away by the Eagan D. That was McClune, I believe.
And that is intercepted, Mike.
Yeah, by Sorensen.
Absolutely in the end zone for a touchback.
Intercepted by Colby Sorensen, number 3.
Well, an exciting way to end the second half, Mike.
Absolutely. But not a good second quarter for the home team. A great second quarter for the visitors as we take a look at that last play.
Deutschman's a good athlete. I actually thought if he had just attacked the line of scrimmage, if he had tried to run that in himself, he would have had all sorts of momentum. And I think he probably would have scored.
Yep, I kind of wondered that too. But as it is, it's halftime here in Wildcat country. Your score, the Anoka Tornadoes 27, the Eagan Wildcats 12. We'll take a break. You're watching Wildcat football on ETV.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the halftime entertainment this evening, Eagan High School proudly presents the Eagan Fall Dance Team. Tonight, the Eagan Fall Dance Team will perform their field routine to the song Get Loud. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get loud for your Eagan Fall Dance Team. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eagan Fall Dance Team. Their coach, Deborah Johnson.
Like right under your eye. My dad wants some pictures with some of y'all. So whoever wants to be in a picture. Oh, I want to face mask. Yeah. No, don't go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now direct your attention to the scoreboard. The killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis on May 29th and the subsequent protests, unrest, and riots impacted our Eagan community a great deal. Eagan High School and the Southern Flag created a flag that embraces anti-racism. Please check out your Eagan High School webpage under community for more information. And now the Eagan High School football team presents The Huddle by Bill Kerr.
Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you, it protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. Both of our children came to us in amazing ways. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children, because I think a parent's job is to protect their children but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them. And
I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you, it protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. Both of our children came to us in amazing ways. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children, because I think a parent's job is to protect our children but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them, and I know that they're going to make the world a better place.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, it starts to work itself out.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
This is where you rise, this is where you shine, this is where you become the greatest of all time. History in the making. This is history in the making. History in the making.
Vote for your life.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. I can't lie and say it was easy. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
We have a gun.
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
And we welcome you back to Wildcat Stadium. We're at the half. It's the Anoka Tornadoes 27, the Eagan Wildcats 12, and they're rocking a little Van Halen here on the speakers in Wildcat Country, a little Running with the Devil. He's Nathan Cron. I'm Mike Cook. We say thanks for being with us here in Wildcat Country on a chilly night. As you can tell, we're all bundled up. Game time temperature was like 46 at the start. Now it's got to be, well, it's chillier. Let's just put it that way.
It's colder. The wind has died down a little bit. If you look at the American flag hanging at the north end of the stadium, it's not blowing now like it was. But, you know, the question becomes, I think, really, what is Eagan going to do to get back into this football game, Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, Anoka Eagan had that first 6 points of the game, and next thing you know, Anoka rattles off 20. Eagan makes a nice long run by Anderson, gets within 8, and then bang, it's just like that. It's 20. Anoka back up by 2 scores.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's the same thing, same story, different day, right, Mike? Where, you know, Eagan does enough to beat itself, and it's, if you're the other team, you know, right now the book on Eagan is wait for them to make a mistake, then pounce on it. And the issue here for Eagan is can they play the second half mistake free? Yep. If they can play second half mistake free, Anoka might be in trouble. They might have a fight on their hands. You know, and it's, you know, the same thing for Anoka. Anoka's coming out thinking, okay, we've hung 27 on these guys. You know, we obviously didn't score that many points last week. We feel like we're in this football game. It's going to be real telling, I think, Mike, what happens on this first drive. As Eagan receives the ball for the second half, is Eagan able to put together a drive, march down the field, get some points, make this a football game, or are we going 3 and out from our 20-yard line and all of a sudden, you know, Anoka's knocking on the door again?
You said both of these teams, they lopsided losses last week. Of course, the Cats down in Farmington, I think it was 68-14. Anoka got beat by Osseo, I think it was 36-7 in a game where Osseo ran for more than 300 yards. Well, Eagan's nowhere near that total tonight.
No,
they've really been struggling to get that thing going on the running game.
No, they're not. And what's interesting is that there's a lot of inconsistency. So let me give you an example. Eagan's had some good running between the tackles. They've had some stuffs, and that happens when you run the option, but they've had some good dives that have gotten yardage, but they haven't been consistent with it. And when they run that option, Mike, as we talked about late in the second half, late in the second quarter, you know, that option needs to attack the line of scrimmage so that it forces the defenders to commit, and then it sets up that pitch. Well, the option is really moving very parallel to the line of scrimmage, and that just doesn't create the same types of angles that you need for blocking and to pitch the ball.
Yeah, we talked about it amongst ourselves in intermission, but you think of the Cats, you know, you had just the turnovers are hurting them. It gives Anoka a good position down deep in their own end. You got to quit doing that.
No, absolutely, and that's the difference in the game, Mike. Right? The difference in the game is that Egan's turned the ball over and had a punt blocked deep in their own end. Anoka jumped on it to their credit, and that's the difference in the football game. Otherwise, it's probably a 14-12 type of game.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens here as we get set for Sear to kick off once again for the Tornadoes. Swings that right leg, and we're underway. Second half in Wildcat Country. Cats drop the ball, but do they pick it up inside the 10, 15, out near the 20-yard line on the return that time for the Eagan Wildcats. That's Anderson, number 2. And that's where Eagan will take over from about the 23-yard line. Again, we saw Anderson had that really big run in the second quarter to set up that second touchdown for the Wildcats, which ended up second score of the night for Max Robinson on the reception.
Yeah, speaking of Robinson, we were talking at halftime, you know, before we came back on, and I think if you're Anoka, you're going to take away Robinson, right? You're going to make sure 15 is always going to be doubled the rest of the game. That way you can make sure that the one significant threat down the field for the Eagan Wildcats can be neutralized.
Cats will just go straight ahead on first down. Get out across the 25, pickup of about 3 that time. Anoka player has the football on the bottom, but
I'm going to call out Luke Meyer that time. Luke Meyer on the left side of your screen. You just saw him popping off the left side of your screen. The ball's on the ground. Luke is locked on his guy 15 yards down the field. Luke, that's the kind of intensity and that's the kind of stick-with-itness that we're going to need to be successful in this second half.
4-yard run that time by Chavez. Robinson's going to go bottom of your screen. You know, see if the Cats, maybe they just try to establish the run right now. And why not go straight ahead that time? That's Chavez. And he'll get out across the 35-yard line. That's a first down, Wildcats.
Well, it was unbalanced line, and then they ran away from the unbalanced line. So that, again, like as you said, Mike, we're at the point. Watch here. It's a dive by Chavez. Chavez sees a nice hold. There was good pressure, a good push from the right side of the line. He cuts back to the right side, and he heads out of bounds. But if Anoka's going to give Eagan this type of a game, then Eagan just has to keep taking it. But they've got to stay on schedule. They can't take holding penalties. They can't cough up that football.
Cats on first down, they'll run it once again. Out across the 40-yard line. Chavez still nice pick up there on first down. That's a 5-yard gain for the Eagan senior.
At the bottom of the pile for Anoka, Austin Churchill, number 67.
Well, I think Eagan thinks. Based on what we were talking about ahead, early, before the game with Coach NJ, Eagan thinks that they can run the football straight at these guys. Anoka's fast. They flow well to the ball, but they're a little undersized up front, and maybe Eagan can push them around a little bit.
Right there again, they'll go straight ahead. Better play that time by the Anoka defense. Churchill coming up off the bottom of that pile. Chavez, the ball carrier again for Eagan.
Austin Churchill, 67 was there, also there.
I think you call that a crunch, I believe, on between those two defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, you run it until they take it away from you, and this is a situation where you do the same thing.
Yeah, Wesley Lawyer, number 18, was the one that joined Churchill there on that stop. 3rd and 3 upcoming for the Eagan Wildcats. Opening drive, second half, down by 2 scores. And they're going to go straight ahead. Churchill wraps the man up, but Chavez fell forward. I think he got enough to move the sticks. And they are going to move the sticks on a great second effort that time by Chavez.
Yeah, Anoka did a good job of reading the play and did a nice job of trying to wrap him up, but credit to Chavez. Great second effort here. We'll see it here on the screen. Right there, he's stopped, but then he spins off to his right and lunges over the line. So he reaches the line to gain. Good, excellent play excellent individual effort, I should say, by Chavez.
Approaching midfield are the Cats. 5 runs so far on this drive for Eagan. And that's not good. Lockenmeyer just kind of fell. Not sure if he tangled feet with one of his linemen. So we'll take a look at that one again, I would imagine. You were just mentioning it a little bit ago. You make all these positive. Yeah, he got stepped on by Vaeda. But you talk about Eagan, you make those forward progress, and then just like that.
Yeah, it's still only 2nd and 12. Yeah, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, 2nd and 12. So it's, still an opportunity here to get back on schedule with a nice play that gains you positive yardage.
Absolutely. Straight ahead, Chavez. Check that, Anderson, the ball carrier out near the 48-yard line. Going to set up 3rd and we'll call it about 8, maybe 7. Again, Churchill on the stop for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Well, at the 48-yard line, it's a gain of 5.
I'm going to keep an eye on the Eagan wide receivers. I'd like to see when we're running these hard dives, I'd like to see what the Eagan wide receivers are doing to sell their blocking. Because I think what you can do in these situations is sell your blocking. Have your hands up as you come off the line, look your blocking, and then just take off down the field. You're going to be wide open.
Robinson, bottom of your screen. Boodoo goes in motion. Looking that way up to Boodoo. Barely got that one to him, but did. Oh, nice tackle by Anoka. Let's see who that was. That was 11, I believe, that came in. Eagan with the stop for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice play by Eagan to come across the line. You'll see him here. He's going to hunt him up right down here. High tackle, careful. Got to be careful there not to grab face mask or horse collar, but he did a good job that time of wrapping his hands up.
Well, let's see what the Cats do here. You got 4th and about 5.
They've outnumbered them 4-1 over there on the side, on the top of your screen. Yep. I'm not sure why in the world that we wouldn't throw the ball over there.
Instead, you're going to give it to Sorensen. Nice job. He up by the Anoka defender. 54 Violent. William Violent.
Anoka's got to fix that. I mean, Eagan's not going to let them do that again. They have 4 guys to 1 over on the north top of the screen. Viant, nice job there reading that play. Sorensen did a nice job. I mean, it wasn't a bad play. It was a nice play call by Eagan, but that time, Anoka just sniffed it out.
So Anoka's going to start on their own 48-yard line. As we approach the halfway point of quarter number 3. Cheerleaders keeping the faith on the Eagan sideline. Let's see Deutschman and the offense for Anoka. First time with the ball here in this third quarter. Again, they scored 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. There's Schmidt trying to bounce outside, cuts it back in. Maybe gets a yard, maybe. Good coverage that time by the Wildcats. Nelson on the stop. Kemp in there as well for Eagan.
Yeah, nice job flowing to the ball that time. It was, as you can see, Schmidt takes the pitch here and goes wide, and offensive line didn't get a lot of protection there for Schmidt. Schmidt was going to have to make a lot of that up on his own, and that time the guys in blue won that one.
Eagan just like they're going to just rush 3, maybe 4. Schmidt, nice call by Anoka, and then he's going to get down to about the 38-yard line before he's wrestled down. I think Anoka saw Eagan had all those guys back. Eagan had to be thinking pass, and just like that, Schmidt picks up about 14.
Well, that's the second or third time that Schmidt's had success over the left side of the line, Mike. At this point, Eagan's got to start taking away Schmidt's ability to go on that left side.
High snap. It goes down to Schmidt, and again, he picks up about 5 on first down. Brown in there for the Wildcats. And why wouldn't you just run Schmidt all run them until they stop him?
That's right. That's absolutely right. Run that clock, absolutely.
Deutschman's going to throw, coming near side. Baird, his favorite receiver. 30, 25, looks for a block, doesn't get it, but still down to the 18-yard line. That's a 15-yard pickup for Anoka, and the Tornadoes are rolling.
Yeah, the Tornadoes are rolling, absolutely. The guys in blue need a big play. Eagan desperately needs a big play here. Right now they've got to get off these blocks, and they've got to do a better job of attacking the line of scrimmage on defense.
Throw it once again, far side. Eagan man miss. Down to about the 10-yard line that time. Looks like number 22 with the reception. That's Paulson. It's going to be a pickup of about 9.
Yeah, Eagan desperately needs a big play here, Mike. They desperately need somebody to make a big play.
I'm going to run at that time, and still a nice pickup down to about the 5-yard line that time is Kelly. Sorensen on the stop for Eagan. Kemp over to help out as well. But the sticks are going to move. It's 1st and goal for the Tornadoes.
I'd like to see Eagan dial up something, a run blitz or a blitz to the field side.
Deutschman hands it off. Schmidt stretches across. Did he get there? Officials say he is going to be just shy. So 2nd and goal from the 1 for the Tornadoes. Gino among those in there trying to keep him out of the end zone.
This looks like a heavy package from Anoka.
I was going to say, look at that group.
Attack the line of scrimmage, Blue. Attack the line of scrimmage.
Deutschman under center for one of the few times tonight. Hands, pitch, Schmidt, too easy. Touchdown Tornadoes.
Dylan Schmidt carries 1 yard into the end zone. Touchdown, Anoka Tornadoes.
33-12 Anoka.
Well, Eagan had an opportunity there. Sol read the play on the right side of your screen there. He comes flying across the field. Unfortunately, that time the guys inside just did not flow. It's you're going to have a hard time keeping people out from the 1 yard line, but you got to attack the line of scrimmage, guys.
Going for 2. Schmidt, run. Add 2 more to that Anoka total. Well, the Eagan optimist right now is going to say it's still a 3-score game.
Yeah, it's definitely not the way you would have drawn it up on a chalkboard coming out of this second half. I mean, Eagan had the opportunity to march down the field and cut this down to a 1-score game. Instead, now we're at a 3-score game. That being said, there's still 4 minutes left of the third quarter. Eagan, look, win or lose, Egan's got to get first downs. They've got to put points on the board. Okay, regardless of the outcome of the football game, they've got to put points on the board. Eagan can't go another 16 minutes of game time without putting points on the board, Mike.
By the way, that last drive for Anoka took 8 plays. Number 8 ran on 5 of them.
Yeah. So if you're Eagan, not only are you facing Schmidt, and an offensive line that seems to, especially on that left side, which seems to be playing well, but now the clock is working against you.
Yep, absolutely.
Now the clock's working against you. Now you've got to really hurry up. You got to run to the line. You have to run your option, run to the line, run your option, run to the line, run your option. You've got to do those things as well. Things that you've seen Anoka do all night tonight.
It's here to kick off once again. Seems like we've said that once or twice this evening. Chavez and Anderson are back deep. This should be Chavez from about his own 13. Tries to bounce to the outside. And he got a decent return out near the 27-yard line where the Cats are going to take over in I would call it a must-score drive.
Yeah. Egan's got to score. And now, that being said, I don't think they have to score quickly. I mean, I would still run, if we can run this football, even if it takes 8 minutes, it takes 8 minutes. Get your touchdown. Get your touchdown, get your points on the board so that you can create a 2-score game, have an opportunity with a stop to make it a 1-score game. Good things can happen. But don't get crazy here. If you're Eagan, don't get crazy here. Make sure you just try to get a first down, try to move this football up the field.
Buddha looked like he was going to go in motion, came right back. And again, the Cats just run it right up the middle. Chavez, but there is a hanky.
I've got a flag. What I can't tell is whether it's either going to be a hold or it's going to be potentially a face mask.
Personal foul face mask.
Wow, it is a face mask. Let's see if we can pick it up here on the
15-yard penalty.
We couldn't see it there on the replay. I think the official or a couple of big bodies were in the way, but I mean I have to say, Mike, that's definitely what Doctor ordered. I mean, assuming nobody gets hurt, a face mask penalty giving us a free 15 and a first down, getting us to near midfield is exactly what Eagan needed. It's kind of a mistake, frankly, on the Anoka side. I mean, you can't take a penalty like that, give the guys in blue a life.
So fresh set of downs from the 46. Bobbled snap. And I think the Cats got it back. They did. Again, just flirting with danger. And it looks like, Lockenmeyer did recover it.
Yeah, the ball can't be on the turf. I mean, it's axiomatic. But I mean, if you're going to be successful as a football team, the center quarterback exchange, the handoffs, they all have to be perfect if you're going to be successful. And fortunately, we get the ball back and we don't lose too much yardage. But gosh, that's another opportunity to, again, advance the ball, move the ball into positive territory and stay on schedule. And now we're looking at second and long.
Maybe a concern here for Anoka. That's number 67, Austin Churchill, your big defensive lineman / linebacker / offensive lineman that is sitting on the turf. Looks like getting that lower leg worked on. Hey, I want to mention for the Eagan Wildcats, at Eagan High School this year, they're collecting gift cards for the Armful of Love. The gift card drive is October 19th to the 30th in the Pause. So they're collecting cash or $25 gift cards for Target, Walmart, or Amazon. Again, part of the Armful of Love here at Eagan High School. And that's good news for Anoka as Churchill walks off under his own power.
And Mike, the Minnesota State High School League is registering officials at all sports at every level of competition. Go to mshsl.org to find out more about how you can become a high school sports official. Teams are counting on you. And speaking as an official myself, a soccer official myself, it's important that people in the community, adults, etc., serve as officials for these games. It's the only way we can play is if we have officials.
If you look at the football schedule across the state, I mean, there's a lot of games that are on days that you wouldn't normally see football games, and part of that is due to the lack of officials. Oh, that was read well that time. And we're going to call interference, I believe, on Anoka. Did Kiatumba get there a little early?
I think that's what the referee is going to call. I honestly, I don't think. Watch at the bottom of your screen, the left of your screen. Yep. That's Coach Bo's upset, and I understand from his perspective why he's upset. because he's on the far side of the field. But we have the benefit of that instant replay, and I think anyone looking at that's going to say, yeah, that looked like he got there early.
And I agreed with Coach Bo with the naked eye. I thought he was good, but officials credit there, right there, made the correct call.
That was a correct call, and for the first time in a long time, a couple of penalties of big 15-yarders inure to the benefit of the Eagan Wildcats. So let's see what they can do with it.
From the Anoka 41, there's about 2.5 to go here in a quick-moving third quarter on ETV. Lockemeyer looks to throw, does throw. Trying to get downfield, too far for the intended target. I believe that was Chavez. Or Robinson checked that.
I don't think that was a bad play by Lockemeyer at all. The protection was solid, not great, but solid. Lockemeyer still didn't really get a chance to step into that ball the way I think he probably would have wanted to. And then, but I also, if I'm honest, I'd like to see Lockemeyer look to that other side of the field if he can to try to find a receiver on the backside or away from Robinson, because I think that would make life a lot easier on him later in the game.
2nd and 10 for the Cats, straight ahead. Good surge that time by the Eagan ball carrier. I'm assuming that is Chavez. That's going to be enough to set up 3rd and about 2 on a nice power run by Chavez. That's just something we have not seen a whole lot of tonight. I mean, it's usually that pile's been going the other way.
I got to tell you, Mike, as a former offensive lineman that used to play for Eagan High School, I absolutely love what I just saw. That was just golden. Do that again, boys. Do that again.
3rd and a long 1, short 2. And they'll go straight ahead. Chavez. That should be enough to move the sticks. That should be down to just outside the 30, which should be enough to move the chains. And there they go. First down, Wildcats. At the Anoka 30, and we've got another Anoka tornado down. It's like 70
or 78,
70
Mike.
Something. Yeah, let's take a look at the Anoka roster here. Who we've got. Well, let's just make sure we got the right number first. It is in
7-0.
7-0. That's Levi Vanderlinden, 6'1", 250, one of the starting D linemen for the Tornadoes. As Coach Bo comes out, takes a look.
And hopefully just one of those cramps, or somebody got, Charlie horse, somebody takes a knee in the ankle or a knee in the calf, and hopefully not a big problem.
Hey, let's mention real quick, we want to mention the crew that's here tonight for Eagan TV, and we know we're also being broadcast up on QC TV in Anoka. Josh Sibley is directing, producing tonight. Joe Chupik's on replay. And our camera people tonight, Greg Borman, Michelle Blasco, and Aaron Thomas. All happy to be here, Wildcat country. Home opener for the Eagan Wildcats. First game in the renovated Wildcat Stadium. Not going the way you would have hoped.
Well, not going the way you hope if you're an Eagan fan, an Eagan partisan. You've got, you still have an opportunity here. I mean, again, I'm going to be an optimist because as a former competitor, you're not going to quit, so you keep playing. And if Eagan has the ball 1st and 10 on the Anoka 30-yard line, they have an opportunity here to cut this to a 2-score game. Do that, and then worry about the rest of the game.
Absolutely. It sounds very cliche, but one play at a time.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not going to score. You're not going to score a 23-point touchdown.
No. I don't think that's in the rule book, Mike.
I don't know if you can do that in fantasy football, depending on how that all plays out.
I think that would be a real challenge.
I would think so too. Lockemeyer under center. Fakes the handoff. Lockemeyer, he's wrestled down back at the 35-yard line. Tyler Nebelung in there. Nebelung.
Well, Nebelung made an excellent play, knife again. I think the pressure came from the right side of the offensive line. They've got to be able to squeeze that down if they want to be successful. And credit to Lockemeyer, not trying to pitch that ball, not trying to get crazy with it. He eats the ball, he goes down. Again, live to play another down.
And Nebelung, he's a wrestler and a track captain as well. Had their, what they call it, the hammer of the week, I think is what they call it in Anoka. He got it last week for 8 hammers, which basically pancake blocks, we were told. So playing a little both ways tonight for the Tornadoes. Lockemeyer looking, throwing, And off the hands of Robinson down at about the 16-yard line.
The receiver was Max Robinson, number 15.
I like the call. I like the play. The execution was there. I'm sure Robinson, he's made some big plays tonight. I'm sure if he watches that on film, he's going to say, geez, that's the one I want back.
So 3rd and about 15 upcoming for the Wildcats. Ball maybe just a hair high, but still a catchable ball.
Yeah, absolutely. If it hits him in the hands, you expect him to be able to come up with that ball. I mean, you run that play, obviously you can't go back to it on this play, but if you run that play again, you give him a coin's toss choice of a chance of catching that ball, and it's a first down inside the 10-yard line.
Instead, it's 3rd and 15 on what could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. And Anoka thinks they have this one. And we've got Churchill down again. He's in a lot of pain. But Anoka does have the football.
Tornadoes on the loose ball. David Ianni, number 7 for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Wow.
The ball never got to got to Boodoo.
No.
I don't think the ball ever got to him. Seemed to hit him on the arm as he's running by. And I just, you just look at this and go, those are the kinds of challenges that this team can't function with. I mean, Eagan is not, we don't have enough together so that we can bounce back from those types of things. You just can't put the ball. Look, let's say it this way: what team can give up a blocked punt and multiple fumbles in a game and be successful? Right? I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're the Vikings, the Gophers, or Eagan High School.
Exactly.
So don't do it. I mean, it's easy for me to say standing up here, but the reality of it is those boys on the field have got to own it too.
There's
right?
Schmidt with a nice run to get things rolling this time for the Tornadoes. It's going to be a pickup of about 8, maybe 9. Is it
Sorensen, number 3. Cole Nelson, number 11.
Spotted at the 49. And they
spotted at the 49-yard line.
And they are going to move the sticks.
A gain of 10 and a first down.
A little indecision that time by the officials.
Not precisely sure why there was so much indecision. It seemed like it was either going to be short, either he had it or he didn't.
So Anoka tacks on 8 more in the 3rd quarter. They're now up by a count of 35-12 over the Eagan Wildcats. Hey, I want to mention something cool I saw on the news the other night, or maybe in the last couple of weeks. Longtime Anoka head coach, I think it's Stan Hansen, just turned 100. And they had people were driving past his house, took about 2 hours, got a key to the city, got a salute from Navy veterans. Just, I mean, we're down here in the South Metro and they're in the North Metro, but people have heard of Stan. Just a great longtime football coach. Heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah, it's a good run, right? I mean 100 is it's a good life. That's a good life led.
There's that too.
A lot of but I mean a lot of young men and women that you've helped along, that you've taught, that you've helped grow up, right? I mean, I hope when I'm 100, if I make it to the century mark, I hope that there's a group of people that look at that and say, this guy, was a good guy in his community. He had a good impact on a lot of people. That's what you want as a human being and as a person.
So we start the 4th quarter with the Tornadoes up by 23 and the football near midfield. Deutschman stepped plenty of time, just lofts it up. Oh, nice reception, fought off the defense. There's Schmidt to the house. That's 51 yards.
Deutschman did a great job of stepping into that ball and delivering it even though he was going to get hit. Schmidt did a great job of catching that ball. And again, Mike, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the defensive secondary for Eagan, you can see what is happening here. There's coverage, but he never turns his head to find the ball.
Well, and they got the matchup they wanted. They had an Eagan linebacker on Schmidt. That was Nelson.
That's right.
Tried the best he could, but he was a step behind. And you know what? Credit to the Tornadoes.
Yep.
Who are going to go up 30 if this kick is good. And it is 42-12 Anoka. Again, another one of these scores. I don't think anybody saw this one coming.
Nope.
We all got down here to Wildcat Country. We expected a evenly played football game, and the Cats, unfortunately, looks like they are well on their way to losing what would be their 17th straight home game and 25th straight game overall. As you look at the heaters flaring up on the Eagan sideline. I don't know if you dare say that's the only thing that's warm on that side of the football field tonight.
Well, there might be a few tempers that are going to get a little warm.
Well, yeah,
because block punt, multiple fumbles. How many fumbles have we had tonight? 3 that we've lost?
Something like
that. Is
that
that right? 3 we've lost, and I think 5 total.
Yeah, a couple that they fell on.
That they fell on, and a block punt. I mean, how many times can you turn over the football? I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, all right? I mean, and if you've got, again, if you're the 85 Bears, you can get away with this sometimes because you have some great individual talent. But the reality of it is that Eagan's got to do better. And look, the coaching staff is going to, this is early in the season for them too. Second game of the season. They have their work cut out for them, and that's what they're going to have to do.
Here to the end zone, and Eagan will take over at their own 20-yard line.
Now, I think what is of critical importance here is that the offense does put something together. I mean, there is still 11 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I'm not predicting necessarily a 4-touchdown comeback, but what I am saying is they need to put together a drive that advances the ball, that keeps this thing moving forward, shows progress. There's from last week to this week. There's been progress, Mike. The question is, can we continue to progress from this week to next week?
Next week it'll be the Rosemont Irish. Health willing will be here in Wildcat Country. That'll be a Friday night game. Again, will be broadcast on ETV.
And at this point, there's no reason for Eagan to change. Look at that line surge. That's a good surge.
Yep.
Okay, just keep doing that. Keep doing that. Push Anoka off the ball. Push him down the field. Wait till they've got 8, 9 guys tight in that box, and then you can try to hit Robinson on the outside.
Again, Robinson, he's the lone receiver in this formation for the Cats. There's Chavez, looks to bounce it outside. He tripped over almost looked like he tripped over the hash mark. But
really unfortunate. Chavez did a great job, made an excellent read there on the block, and if he doesn't trip, Robinson, and if Robinson stays engaged, Chavez might be still running.
Absolutely.
A couple of big plays would at least be a nice consolation prize to what's going to happen here tonight.
As it is, we're down 10:44 and counting. This is Anoka by 30 Cats, 3rd and 1. Chavez needed 1, got about 4. The chains will move. First down, Wildcats.
It's a first down for the Wildcats.
To the 32-yard line. It'll be a 3-yard run.
Johnson, number 31, and Ian Brunt, number 51. There's a gain of 3 out to the 32-yard line for the first down.
And it looks like Anoka still got their number 1 D out there. I think maybe one more series. Looking to throw. Cats, Lockenmeyer trying to find time. Look out from behind. And 28 is going to get the sack. That's Martinson, but you got to give the secondary credit on that one.
Yeah, for a moment, Lockenmeyer had somebody open down the field, and then it closed up really, really quickly. And to his credit, he realized, hey, if I throw this ball, I'm throwing into multiple defenders. And at that point, he's trying to make something good happen. Unfortunately, he just couldn't quite get the corner. Lockenmeyer's fast enough that if he got the corner, if he could somehow get around that corner, he would make something happen. But that time, again, wisely, he's going to live to play another down.
Actually, they're going to say he got back to the line of scrimmage, so technically going to be a 0 run versus a sack. Looks like they might have bobbled the snap once again. And Chavez is gobbled up by a number of the Anoka Tornadoes, including, and there was number 51. First time we've called him tonight is Ian Brunn.
Well, we talked about center quarterback exchange and how important it is, Mike. When we were referring to Anoka earlier, the same axiom applies to the Eagan Wildcats. If the ball comes out and doesn't hit the quarterback's hands in the right place at the right speed, you get all screwed up. And that's exactly what happened there on that one.
In football is that sport where if that first move doesn't work, your whole offense is shot. There's Robinson on the reception, out near the 37-yard line.
Credit to Robinson. Forgive me, Mike.
I was going to say about a 5-yard gain for Eagan.
Yeah, it sets up a makeable 4th down. I mean, they're going to keep the offense out there at this point. Why not? It's going to be 4th and 5, 4th and 6, 4th and 5. I mean, there's an opportunity here. Robinson catches the ball. He's wrapped up quickly by Anoka, and as you can see, that safety coming over the 42, the safety coming over the top, was able to get there. That's the smart play, I think, if you're Anoka, is make sure Robinson doesn't beat you anymore. Make Lockemeyer go to the other side of the field. Make him go to Phillips or Sorensen or somebody else.
4th and 4. Got to get to the 42-yard line to the Wildcats. Lockemeyer scrambles near side. He's pressured, and he's going to get nowhere near it. Good job that time by the Tornadoes. And he might have got back to the line of scrimmage that time before he was covered up by number 43. Yeah, that's Hunter Flavian. And Anoka's going to take over at the Wildcat 38-yard line.
That's incredibly frustrating if you're Eagan. Credit to Anoka for not giving up on that play. You know, I think though, from a play design standpoint, I think Lockemeyer's rolling out to his right. You want him to either be able to attack the line of scrimmage, or you want to give him multiple receivers. It looked like Robinson was the only receiver really on that side of the field. I'm not sure how that was drawn up, but he just didn't have very many options that time.
Jacob Marco went at quarterback now for Anoka, number 17.
Jacob Marco, number 17.
Just hand it off. And at this point, if you're Anoka, just keep running the ball, milk the clock. Again, that was 13. That was Kelly. He's had a few carries tonight.
Yeah, I would imagine Anoka probably wouldn't. I mean, at this point, why would you put the ball in the air?
Absolutely.
I mean, just keep handing off to 13, or keep handing off to Schmidt's obviously out of the game, and just keep handing off.
Your cheerleaders, they low snap that time, but they'll keep. And Marco still gets back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe a little bit more. Might have got the first down. But yeah, the cheerleaders, they're about the lone thing cheering on the home side tonight.
The ball carrier and tackle gave Father, number 8 for the Wildcats.
And we were talking before the game too. It's so quiet around here. I mean, the pit is not here. Stands are not packed. And you mentioned, a game like this, how much would that help the Wildcats to have their home fans making a lot of noise?
Well, it would have helped, especially in that first quarter. When Eagan's scoring some points, right? I mean, that would have been really, really helpful.
Well, far side, and rustled out of bounds over there. Short pickup that time for Anoka. Cullen McKay with the reception for Anoka. Just a nicely executed play by the Tornadoes.
Well, Anoka has done that several times tonight. That's probably the 3rd or 4th time I've seen them run a very similar play to that. And Eagan still hasn't, candidly, Mike hasn't adjusted to it. They haven't been able to do anything to get out to that side to be able to take that on. The defensive backs are still catching blocks. They have to attack. When you throw the short, quick screen like that, you have to attack the line of scrimmage.
So Anoka sends a man in motion. They'll have 3 receivers right. They'll throw it once again. There's that same combination. And again, they'll get a short pickup, but again, it's going to be enough, though, to move the sticks this time.
Pitch again made, number 12, Cullen McKay.
Should be a first down at about the 16-yard line.
16-yard line, a gain of 7. It's a first down for the Tornadoes at the Wildcats 16-yard line.
Something I didn't think I'd be saying tonight, but if Anoka scores here, we're talking running time.
No, it certainly didn't. The game certainly didn't start that way, Mike. It certainly didn't start that way, and I have to say I'm surprised it's finishing even close to that. Yeah. I thought I would see a much closer football game tonight.
Absolutely. And Marco on the keep. Lowers that shoulder out at about the 4-yard line. Boy, that was Brockberg that got the recipient of that hit from the quarterback.
Jacob Marco, number 17, keeps the ball. Out of bounds by Ethan Brockberg, number 24.
I'm going to spot the ball at about the
down for the Tornadoes.
At about the 5. Watch just hit at the end by the quarterback. He ain't sliding or running out of bounds.
Spotted at the 5-yard line. It was a gain of 11. First and goal for Anoka.
Actually, Brockberg with a nice hit. It initially looked like the quarterback kind of lowered his shoulder into him, but I think Brockberg might actually got the better of that.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he just has to keep those feet moving. I think what happens is players tend to bounce, and rather than attacking the tackle, And so as a result, it kind of looked a little funny for the Eagan defender.
From the 5, Anoka looking to put this one into running time. He'll come left, cut up the middle. We got a flag on the play as he goes into the end zone, but thinking this one might be coming back.
Yeah, it looked like a hold right at the point of attack. It looked like I couldn't tell if it was Favre or if it was Burhane. One of the two was 7 or 8. I couldn't tell which number it was. Yeah, that's holding right there on your screen. 57 on Sorensen, I believe. Yeah, so that's going to be holding. It's going to bring him back. That's a good call. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Cole Nelson, excuse me.
Yep. And it's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Ball goes back to the 16-yard line.
Holding against the Tornadoes, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, which was the 6-yard line. Moves the ball to the Wildcats 16.
Anoka still has an opportunity here. I mean, it's obviously 4-down territory for them. They can run this football, so Eagan's got to be very careful here not to give up anything on the ground. No big plays.
Yep. First and goal from the 16.
Be smart. Watch them go outside. Watch them.
Low snap once again, though. And that ball never had a chance.
Pass incomplete.
I want to mention, we said it's a chilly night out here tonight, and again, they're having the Interact annual coat drive at Eagan High School, sponsoring the 9th annual coat drive from October 19th to the 23rd. Drop-off locations, both entrances to Eagan High School. Looking to put coats in a sealed plastic bag. They're looking for clean, gently used coats in both kids and adult sizes. And the coats will be donated to a closed closet in the community that is attached to a food shelf. So talk to Mr. Wierzbinski for more questions. But again, the coat drive at Eagan High School, October 19th to the 23rd. And Anoka goes backwards on that play.
Kelly, several Wildcats in the tackle, including Nate Burhane, number 7.
A nice job by Eagan to squeeze that down. So Anoka's got 3rd down and goal from about the 18-yard line. They're going to have their work cut out for them here on 3rd down, and again, they've definitely stalled a little bit with these changing personnel.
Yeah, Burhane with a stop. I think that might be only the second time we've called his name tonight. Trying to set up that screen. Nice job by Cifuentes. Just got that right hand up there. Broke that one up.
Well, when you see 2 or 3 of your teammates racing ahead of you towards the quarterback, somebody's got to turn around that time. And I think it was Cifuentes that time. Someone's got to turn around to get a hand to that ball to make sure that it doesn't, to look for that screen, because that really was a good call by Anoka. That screen pass in the middle like that was perfect because Eagan was bringing the house. So Eagan's got to do a good job of being smart on this play. 4th down and goal from the 18, and keep him out of the end zone.
Yep, Sears going to go for the field goal. 35-yard attempt by Sear. He's got the leg to do it, as we've noticed on the extra points. Ball's down, ball is up. Plenty of leg, plenty of accuracy. Add 3 more to the Anoka total. 5 minutes to go in this one. That's a 35-yard field goal, 45-12. Oh, we mentioned looking ahead, the Wildcats have Rosemount here next Friday. Then they're at Burnsville, I believe, on the Halloween Friday. That's the 30th. Eastview at home, and then they finish at Lakeville South. Again, it's assuming all these games do happen, and I know at least 2 of those teams have had some COVID-related issues. For those of you watching from Anoka, you're at Champlain Park next week. Host the Tino Grace on the 30th, and you're at Maple Grove, and you host Blaine. So, October 30th, home against Tino Grace in the Halloween capital of the world up in Anoka.
My guess is there will be some rather, well, you know what I was going to say? I was going to laud the Halloween spirit in Anoka and talk about all the great costumes and setups and things that you'd see, and then I just remembered we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Exactly.
So there won't be anybody there, and that's just great.
100th anniversary of that celebration in Anoka this year. Saw something in the paper I thought was rather interesting. Travis Geinger, I hope I'm saying that right, he grew a 2,350-pound pumpkin from Anoka, and on Monday he won the Safeway World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off.
The World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off.
It's over in California. A pumpkin that weighs more than a ton.
So wait a minute. He grows the pumpkin in Minnesota,
and somehow they
transport it to
California. Yep. And the story said at one point that thing grew 53 pounds per day at its peak. And the story had mentioned that they were worried about transporting it because apparently if it's cracked,
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
But still, 2,350-pound pumpkin. And they said that's going to be available, by the way, for viewing at the...
I think everybody's having Thanksgiving at his house this year.
It's a lot of pie. And the Cats on first down. Chavez this time. Started like 20. 9-yard pickup. We got timeout taken.
Timeout by Anoka.
Yeah.
I think. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Coach Bo is going to say a couple things to his players. Number one, he wants to make sure that they finish this game clean and classy, and they know what it's like. Look, the fans who are listening from Anoka, or listening to our broadcast from Anoka, you guys know what it's like to lose a lot of football games, and it's not fun. And when you're in a game that you expect to be competitive in, people can sometimes get a little frustrated and a little angry. I'm sure Coach Bo is calling this time out to calm his guys down, make sure they stay focused on being the class athletes that they need to be, that they should be, that he wants them to be. So I think that's a smart move by Coach Bo.
Yep, I agree.
He obviously saw something he didn't like, right? And I don't think with the score being what it is, I don't think it's schematic.
No. Cats on second and short. There's Chavez. Get out near the 35-yard line. Boy, Chavez getting a lot more carries this week for the Wildcats.
First hit for Anoka by Jackson Eagan, number 99.
It's a 6-yard run.
It's a first down for the Wildcats. It's a gain of 6 yards.
I mean, Egan's got 2 timeouts and 4 minutes and 30-plus seconds left. I would like to see them try to get this ball down the field a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's get a first down first. Let's get a couple first downs. Get this to midfield and then see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be looking to the future at this point.
Yep.
And again, we've said that for many of the games we've done together over the years. But there's Chavez again. Nice run there. Picks up about 7.
Then on the tackle for the Tornadoes, Noah Thielen, number 82.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see. I can by the numbers. I think we're starting to see a few new players there out there for the Anoka defense. Although a number of them are still, a number of the defensive secondary are still in the game.
Clock and mile bring the Cats up. Clock continues to roll. I was going to say, the one thing for Eagan is Boodoo makes a nice run here. Boodoo to the house. 6 points, Eagan. 58-yard run.
58 yards, touchdown, Wildcats.
I have to say I'm impressed with that run. I'm impressed with that run for 2 reasons. Number one, because he maintained great pitch relationship on the option, and the option was read well. That's number one. Number two, I honestly thought he didn't look like he was going that fast. I mean, he looked so smooth, right. And then all of a sudden, watch him, he's smooth, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, whoa, he's by everybody. I mean, I looked at it and went, oh, okay, there's another 5-yard gain. All of a sudden, it's like, holy cow, he's down the field. Look at this go.
I think that hamstring is healed.
Yeah, no kidding. Either that or it's so cold he can't feel it.
It could be too. And the extra point is on its way, and it is good.
Kick is good.
So again, we were just talking about something to build on for next week and beyond, and that helps right there.
No, it absolutely helps right there. It's the kind of thing that you have to have if you're. It's the kind of thing you have to have if you're Coach NJ and you're putting this thing together. I think it's. I will say this. There does come a point where moral victories are not enough anymore,
no,
right?
Not at all.
Where at some point you say, okay, guys, we fumbled the ball 3 times. We fumbled it 5 times. We lost 3 of them. We had a block punt, and that's just not going to get it done. You can't do it. Now, let me ask you this, Mike. In your opinion, based on what you see out here, if they play this game 10 times, if you play this game 10 times and Eagan doesn't turn over the ball 3 times on fumbles, doesn't have a blocked punt, I think this is a very even ball game.
I was just going to say 5-5.
I think it's probably a pretty even ball game, and I think we've seen Anoka with a couple of really good offensive stars, but I think Eagan's got enough that in the tank to be competitive.
Short kick, and it'll be gobbled up at about the 21-yard line. Coming back near side. Nice way to get those last couple of extra yards there for Anoka. It's number 28. Martinson. Well, I think if you're Eagan too, now you've got to worry a little bit about the mentality of your team. You go to Farmington, really good team. You get waxed, to put it mildly.
Sure.
You come here, you're thinking, hey, here's a team that got beat pretty bad. We should be able to be very competitive with them. And, well, right now you're down by 26.
Well,
you've got Rosemount coming in here next week.
Yeah.
For, a perennial top 10 team.
Yes. It's going to be a tough sledding next Friday against the Rosemount Irish. No question about that. That being said, fumbles and block punts are things you absolutely control. You absolutely control those things.
Absolutely.
That's not Anoka beating you. That's you beating yourself. Now, credit to Anoka falling on the fumbles, but putting the ball on the ground is something you do, not something they do. Because all of these fumbles, if I'm not mistaken, as we're watching Kelly go running down the field,
73 yards,
virtually untouched. Mike, I don't know that a Wildcat player laid a hand on him as he went to the house.
73 yards, touchdown Anoka.
Credit to Anoka for taking advantage of the opportunities. Watch here. I'm not sure. Okay, so we did have
yeah, there's one there. Yep.
2 broken tackles and then gone. And then that's the kind of stuff. I mean, that's the kind of stuff as a coach that drives you a little bit crazy. I mean, yes, you're losing the football game, but it's like, guys, they're running straight at us. We have to make a play.
And a lot of that was Eagan's 2 defense, but you got to make a tackle.
You got to make a tackle. You have to make a tackle.
I mean, you're not out there if you can't perform the basic.
You got to make a tackle.
And one more for Anoka. 52-19. This game was 6-0 Eagan after 1. Got to remember that. 3:13 to go. We're going to be into a running time, I think. No, we're not. It's only 33. Got to be 35. Nick Johnson might be asking him to just go ahead and run the clock anyway. But,
yep. I mean, but I want to. If I can bore the heck out of everybody listening one more time. The fumbles that we saw, if I'm not mistaken, 2 out of the 3 that were recovered by Anoka were bad exchanges, where the ball wasn't put where it needed to get to, or the connection wasn't there. So one of them was a situation where I think Anoka created the turnover in the first fumble, but the other 2 were exchange issues, and those are things that from a coaching and development standpoint you'll get, and a lot of these players, as we've talked about, Mike, are coming back to football and being part of our program for the first time. They haven't played football in a few years, and so it's going to take a little bit of time. The problem is with the 6-game season and no scrimmages, there's not a lot of time to get spun up on this stuff.
Absolutely.
Number 14, Stefan Voodoo, and number 15, Max Robinson.
So Robinson back deep. We've seen that yet from the Wildcats. Short kick. Will that go out of bounds? And it does. Second time tonight.
Out of bounds. Penalty flag is thrown.
Eagan from the 35.
Now that being said, I like the fact that they're watching that ball go out of bounds. They're staying right with it based on what happened last week in Farmington. We want to make sure that we've crossed that T and dotted that I before we start walking back to the bench.
I mean, we talk about that in Farmington. For those of you that haven't seen that game, there was one play in the second. I think it was the second half. Farmington kind of pooch kicks one to about the Eagan 35. 3 Eagan guys are standing around looking at it. Farmington comes in, slides, grabs it. First down Tigers.
First down Tigers. That's right. It was a mental mistake.
Yeah, they'll go straight ahead this time. Get some fresh numbers in there for the Wildcats.
Zach Jacobson
on the carry.
Zach is listed. I got to tell you, Mike, I love what I just saw.
I do too.
Zach is listed as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think there's – watch this replay. There's not much shifty. There's no shifty here.
No, that's just lower your head.
He just lowers his head. He probably doesn't run the ball too much. Want Zach to wrap up that ball a little bit more next time when he's button up on contact, but I loved what I saw.
This time Lockemeyer will keep. Crosses midfield.
Number 16 keeps the ball.
Again, Eagan still got 2 minutes and 30-plus seconds, 2 timeouts. Hey, last time Voodoo went to the house, so let's keep running plays and see what happens.
Absolutely.
A gain of 4 yards.
Boy, Jacobson got a cross on the fake handoff. Boy, he got popped big time there by Anoka. It was Jackson Dayan. Well, they listed 210. Boy, he looks a lot bigger, number 99 for the Tornadoes.
Zach Jacobson, number 56.
Jacobson again. And that's going to be a third and about 3 upcoming.
Well, if Jacobson keeps running the ball like this, he might see a lot of handoffs next week. I mean,
why not?
I mean, you know, he's pushing. You know, it's one thing. You know, like the offensive line obviously has had its struggles tonight, but they've also had some. They've had a lot. They've played much better tonight than they did against Farmington.
Oh yeah,
much better.
Yep.
And you know, and to watch Jacobson run the football, I mean, if that's what it takes to get this thing down the field, let's do it.
Here he is again.
That's first down.
Yep. Under 90 seconds to go in this one.
56, Zach Jacobson carries.
Now this would be this is the eternal Wildcat optimist in me. This would be a great opportunity if we have a 2-minute drill or we have something we do inside 2 minutes to get a quick score. I mean, it's 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line, minute 15 in running, and 2 timeouts. Let's see if we can get this ball down the field.
Well, you were saying Lockenmeyer's looking that way. Lockemeyer, he'll keep it instead. That'll be a first down inside the 30, down to the 26. That's about 15 yards on the quarterback scamper.
Absolutely. Now, Lockemeyer had Jacobson down the field. Jacobson was waving his arms. 56 fakes the handoff.
Oh, yeah.
He's down the field waving his arms. Lockemeyer, I'm not sure if he saw him or not, but Jacobson, fortunately, then at the end of that play comes back to make a block, which is one of the advantages having an offensive lineman as your fullback.
If you're Lockemeyer, though, do you see that number is 56 and you think offensive lineman?
I don't know. Maybe. All I know is that he got 15 yards with his feet.
And there he goes again.
56, Zach Jacobson carries, met by a host of Anoka tacklers.
7-yard run on what could be the final play of tonight's contest.
You know,
the Cats are going to hurry to get one more off.
Yeah, I wouldn't begrudge the Wildcats the opportunity to call. I mean, I'm a little surprised they didn't call a timeout here. Try to get in the end zone, right? I mean, I think there's some value in trying to get into that end zone.
Yeah. Down to 5. This will be the last play of the game, unless there's a penalty. Lockemeyer. Go left. Throws it across his body, and we are incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
That's going to wrap things up in Wildcat country. So congratulations to the Anoka Tornadoes. They come into Wildcat country and are leaving with a 52-19 win over the Wildcats.
Well, Mike, we talked about it, especially in this second half. Many of the challenges that Eagan faced tonight were of their own doing. If you beat yourself, halfway, it's a lot easier for the other team to finish the job, and that's what Eagan did to themselves tonight. Now, the optimist in me says, look, you take away those fumbles, you clean that up, you do some of these other things well, all of a sudden it's a different game. Yep. And I do think that if these two teams played 10 times, I think Eagan's going to win a few of these games, But at the same time, they didn't win tonight when they had to. They didn't execute when they needed to, and that's what they're going to have to figure out. That's what they're going to have to figure out. They have more opportunities this season to figure that out, and that's what they're going to have to do.
Yep. So I'm sure Nick Johnson will have some words for the guys. They'll try to regroup, and they'll be back at it on Friday, the 23rd of October. The Rosemont Irish will be here. Again, that'll be an ETV broadcast. So on behalf of the entire ETV crew, he's Nathan Cron. I'm Mike Cook. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for Wildcat football on Eagan TV.